Chapter 2600. Su-Yin couldn't imagine Jin Hong's life. Obviously, it wasn't something that an ordinary person could bear. In such a big family, he could be a member of the family, but he had to live like a servant. He had to come and go as he pleased. Jin Hong had been suppressed for many years. Perhaps leaving the Jiang family and coming to Jin Guai's side was a lucky escape for him. "Do you know why I came to my master's side?" Jin Hong said. "I never believed that there would be a day when I would be driven out of the Jiang family." "Why did they drive you out?" Su-Yin was really curious about this matter. "Because I fell in love with someone," Jin Hong said. Jiang Zixue. Su-Yin was stunned. For a big family like the Jiang family, this was absolutely unforgivable. A servant had taken a fancy to their young miss. "Jiang Zixue is the eldest daughter of my father, Jiang Jing," Jin Hong said. "She has countless suitors." Jiang Jing didn't care at all about the Jiang family's servants pursuing her, because he knew that Jiang Zixue's standards were very high. She didn't like anyone. Su-Yin listened quietly. Perhaps if he wanted Jin Hong to explain everything clearly, he would have to wait for him to vent all the suppressed things in his heart. However, when he found out that I was pursuing Jiang Zixue, he mercilessly drove me out of the Jiang family. Jin Hong said. "Do you know what others said?" Su-Yin shook his head and poured wine for Jin Hong again. Jin Hong snorted. "Everyone in the Jiang family, inside and outside, said that I was the bastard child that Jiang Jing left on my mother." Speaking of this, Jin Hong was obviously unable to control his emotions. He could only use alcohol to suppress the anger in his heart. 10 months before I was born, Jiang Jing was seriously drunk. That night, it was my mother who helped him change his clothes and helped him to bed. Jin Hong said excitedly. "All the rumors are based on facts." As a descendant of the Jiang family, he wasn't recognized by the Jiang family. He had been a servant in the Jiang family all his life. It was only when he was driven out that he realized that he wasn't a servant at all. He was a real member of the Jiang family. The reason why Jiang Jing chased him out was because he was worried about the marriage between close relatives. Because Jiang Zixue was his half-sister. But at that time, as long as Jiang Jing acknowledged his identity, he would not be driven out of the Jiang family. But for the sake of his own reputation, Jiang Jing did not take his son seriously at all. Because at that time, Jiang Jing had a son besides Jiang Zixue. Therefore, Jiang Jing didn't care about the child that his female servant had given birth to. In Jiang Jing's eyes, Jin Hong was not a son at all. He was just a child that was accidentally born. If there was a chance, Jiang Jing would never let him be born. "So you should be called Jiang Hong," Su-Yin said. "I won't be surnamed Jiang," Jin Hong said. "The Jiang family gave me a servant's tattoo and treated me like a servant. They chased me out like a dog. I will never forget that for the rest of my life." Su-Yin asked, "Did Jiang Jing send you to Mr. Jin?" Jin Hong nodded and picked up the wine glass again. "He said that this was his last mercy to me." "Maybe he sent you to Mr. Jin as a kind of compensation and salvation," Su-Yin said. "At least I think he saved you now." Jin Hong was stunned. "Why do you say that?" "Because as far as I know, I'm afraid that there is no one alive in the Jiang family now except Jiang Zixue," Su-Yin said lightly. Jin Hong's eyes almost popped out. "What did you say?" "I'm not just saying that something happened to the Jiang family. Something really happened," Su-Yin said. "And it's a big deal." "How could Jiang Jing?" Jin Hong said. "After I was sent to Jibei, the entire Jiang family moved to Canada in less than a year. I know about this. Why did something happen to the Jiang family, even after all this?" The Jiang family would always be the Jiang family. No matter how angry Jin Hong was before, how much hatred he had for the Jiang family, and how much hostility he had for Jiang Jing. Once he heard about what happened to the Jiang family, he would still be worried. After all, they were a family. No matter what happened, they would still be a family. "What exactly happened?" Jin Hong asked nervously. Su-Yin shook his head. "I don't know yet, but I can basically confirm it. The only person left in the Jiang family now is probably Jiang Zixue. Moreover, she might have suffered from selective amnesia, because of a strong shock." The more Jin Hong listened, the more nervous he became. He clenched his fists. "When did this happen?" About a month ago, Su Yun said. Now there are still people who won't let Jiang Zixue go. That's why I came here. I want to know something about the 7 big families. Jin Hong picked up his wine glass and drank a mouthful of wine. I thought that Mr. Jin would know something and tell me, Su Yun said. But now it seems that he doesn't want me to get involved. You really don't need to get involved in the Jiang family's affairs, Jin Hong said. This won't benefit you at all. If I came here for benefits, I wouldn't have wasted so much energy, Su Yun said. I was just entrusted by someone, and it's also for a favor. After a pause, Su Yun continued. One more thing, Jiang Zixue is now my friend. How can I stand by and do nothing when a friend is in trouble? Jin Hong looked at Su Yun at a loss. At this moment he was in a dilemma. He had been saying how much he hated the Jiang family, but in his heart, he was very grateful that Su Yun would help the Jiang family at this time. I know that it won't be easy for you to accept all this when I suddenly tell you, Su Yun said. But there's no other way. I have to tell you the truth, especially, you're a member of the Jiang family. Jin Hong still didn't seem to want to admit that he was a member of the Jiang family, but he really didn't want anything to happen to the Jiang family. The 6 big families have long wanted to deal with the Jiang family. They just haven't done anything yet, Jin Hong said. It's reasonable for something to happen now? Other than the Jiang family, who are the other 6 big families? Su Yun asked. Other than the Jiang family, the biggest family is the Tao family, followed by the Zhao family, the Qian family, the Sun family, the Li family and the Zhou family. Jin Hong said. The Tao family has the deepest grudge with the Jiang family, because the Tao family has always been unwilling to submit to the Jiang family. Su Yun nodded. In that case, the whole plan must have been planned by the Tao family. Jin Hong nodded. There's no need to doubt that. Then I'm afraid that the Tao family must eliminate the weeds by the roots, Su Yun said. That's not necessarily the case. The Tao family is still very smart. If they can avoid doing something themselves, they will try their best not to do it themselves, Jin Hong said. Su Yun smiled slightly. But now, there are no fools who will follow the orders of others. If the 6 big families could join forces to do this, it must be fair. It couldn't be because of the Tao family's leadership. This was because the people from the other 5 clans knew that if they listened to everything the Tao clan said, the Tao clan would naturally suppress them when the Jiang clan was overthrown. If that was the case, wouldn't everything they had done be for nothing? What was the point of that? It was completely meaningless. Whether or not the Tao family is still chasing after them, the Tao family won't leave them alone at this time, Jin Hong said. Although it's said that one shouldn't pursue a cornered enemy, if Jiang Zixue is the only one left in the Jiang family, they will definitely support eliminating the weeds by the roots. Su Yun nodded. There was nothing to say. If it were him, he would do the same. Chapter 26:01. One thing was certain. After the Jiang family was purged, the Tao family benefited the most. Moreover, the Tao family had the intention of replacing the Jiang family and unifying the 6 great families. I actually know very little. After all, I was sent out 10 years ago, Jin Hong said. I really don't know much about the Tao family. Su Yun nodded. This was understandable. After being out for so long, he had long left the system of the 7-star radiance. When I was still in the Jiang family, the Tao family had already settled down in Russia. They control some of the markets in West Asia and Eastern Europe. It can be said that they are a very active family in the 7-star radiance, Jin Hong said. You don't know the exact location of their house, right? Su Yun asked. Jin Hong shook his head. I really don't know. Even if I knew, I wouldn't let you go to that kind of place. If you go to the Tao family's territory alone, you'll just be throwing your life away. You can't be so absolute, Su Yun said. Besides, I'm not an impulsive person. If I don't have absolute confidence, I won't act rashly. Jin Hong frowned. How is Jiang Zixue's situation now? Su Yun didn't want this person, who was most likely the real eldest son of the Jiang family, to worry, so he comforted him. She's fine. It's actually good for her to forget some things. With Su Yun's words, Jin Hong felt more or less at ease. I don't know what I should do to help you, Jin Hong said. I know very little about the Tao family. Before I left the Jiang family, in my contact with the Tao family, the one who left a deep impression on me was not a man from the Tao family. Instead, it was a woman who made me feel that she was particularly dangerous. Oh. Su Yin became spirited. A woman who can establish herself in such a large family is clearly not simple. Yes, Jin Hong said. At the time, she was only in her 20s, but she was already one of the few capable people in the Tao family. Su Yin took a sip of wine and looked seriously at Jin Hong. Her name is Tao Yinan, the second daughter of the Tao family. Jin Hong continued. At that time, the Tao family handed over the handling of the Jiang family's matters to Tao Yinan. She was very forceful and very resourceful. For a woman to be placed in such an important position, weren't the men of the Tao family too useless? Su Yin thought silently in his heart. If that was the case, Su Yin felt that it was a good thing. At least it proved that the men of the Tao family were useless. It can even be said that 10 years ago, it was Tao Yinan's strong oppression that caused the Jiang family to withdraw from Huaxia. Jin Hong said. This woman really cannot be underestimated. This was obviously a character that could not be ignored. Su Yin could tell from Jin Hong's expression. She was a woman who had left a deep impression on him even after 10 years. Tao Yinan was very ambitious. Although she was a woman, she was very interested in power and status. Jin Hong said. And at that time, she was a very powerful character in the eyes of the other families. What were her characteristics? Su Yin asked. Jin Hong thought for a moment. I don't know much about her. I only know that she was a person who lived a very luxurious life in all aspects. You could say that she had very high taste. This characteristic was too broad. It was basically meaningless to Su Yin. There were all kinds of luxuries that she didn't like. High heels and jewelry were almost her label, Jin Hong said. The first time I saw her, the impression that she left was high heels, the kind that hated the sky. There were too many women who liked to wear high heels now. Su Yin could only nod. And red wine, Jin Hong said. Even if she drank it casually, it would be at least 20 to 30,000 a bottle of red wine. Su Yin rubbed his temples. His brain was about to explode. 20 to 30,000 a bottle of red wine was now like mouthwash for any Huaxia local tyrant. It didn't matter if they had 7 or 8 bottles of red wine for a meal. I remember that at that time, the Jiang family got a few bottles of red wine from a friend. It was the kind that couldn't be bought even with millions of yuan. Jin Hong said. She directly asked for a price that Jiang Jing couldn't refuse. Su Yin narrowed his eyes. This seemed to be an opportunity. If Tao Yinan was the person who chased after Jiang Zixue on Qingdao, then maybe he could really lure her out. The red wine warehouse of Yi Fala Xingkai Hotel really had the best wine. They could even take out a bottle of red wine that cost millions of yuan. The main problem now was how to lure Tao Yinan out. He couldn't just take the red wine and shout about how good it was, how rare it was, and how much it was sold for, right? If he did that, he would definitely be regarded as crazy. Tao Yinan wouldn't be stupid enough to take out money to buy it and taste it. Maybe the things I know won't be of much help to you, Jin Hong said. But I came out to talk to you. I really want to. I understand the feeling in your heart. Su Yin said. That kind of discomfort is difficult to express in words. Jin Hong said. In fact, after so many years, I have already forgotten my past identity. Master has always been telling me not to think about those things in the past. Su Yin smiled helplessly. Otherwise, Mr. Jin wouldn't be so angry with me today. Yes, if it weren't for you, maybe no one would ever mention my past in front of me. Jin Hong looked up at the dazzling lights. The bar was getting noisier and noisier, and Jin Hong's mood was getting more and more unsettled. Just now, Jin Gui told him before leaving that if he wanted to leave, he shouldn't come back. This was not a joke. This was a kind of reminder. After all, Jin Gui was a person with life experience and life experience. Before Su Yin said all this, he knew in his heart that once Jin Hong knew about the current situation of the Jiang family, Jin Hong would definitely be affected. No matter how the Jiang family treated him in the past, whether the Jiang family didn't give him a status before, and no matter how the Jiang family wronged his mother, He couldn't really sit back and do nothing. After all, the blood of the Jiang family still flowed in his bones. Moreover, he was the eldest son of the Jiang family. This was a secret that he wasn't the only one who knew and had been suppressed for so many years. If the Jiang family had always been safe and sound, Jin Hong would at most feel a little angry when he mentioned the Jiang family. However, now that the Jiang family was in trouble, how could he just stand by and watch? It was said that the depth of love, the depth of blame, the depth of love, and the depth of hatred. How much Jin Hong hated what the Jiang family had done to him also represented how much he wanted to integrate into the Jiang family. It wasn't for money, status, or other worldly possessions. He just didn't want to be excluded by his own family. He could endure for so many years because he didn't want people to point fingers at him and say that he was desperate to become a member of the Jiang family for money. He didn't care about the Jiang family's money or property. He just wanted the kind of family affection between family members. This might be an opportunity for Jin Hong to finally have a reason to stand up and tell everyone that he was a member of the Jiang family, even though everything seemed to have been destroyed. However, Jin Hong still wanted to let the heavens know everything. Moreover, not all of his family members had left. There was still Jiang Zixue. Although she was his half-sister and Jin Hong only hated his father, Jiang Jing, they were still related by blood. Now that Jiang Zixue was all alone, even if Su Yun took care of her, what could she do? Su Yun was at most a friend, and friends were always friends. They were different from relatives and family. Drink. The only thing Su Yun could comfort Jin Hong now was the cognac in the glass. There wasn't much left in the bottle, but Jin Hong had no intention of drinking enough. Su Yun raised the table lamp and motioned for the waiter to bring another bottle. He knew that this man needed to get drunk today. Chapter 2602. While Su Yun and Jin Hong were drinking and chatting in the bar, Jin Gui stood outside the bar and looked at the stars in the sky. He knew that something bad would happen. This constellation made him feel uneasy no matter how he looked at it. Jin Gui hoped that Jin Hong wouldn't make the wrong choice, but he also hoped that he would follow his heart and make the choice he wanted to make. No matter what, Jin Gui didn't want this child to have a knot in his heart that he would regret for the rest of his life. That was why Jin Gui said those words. If Jin Hong chose to help Su Yun, he wouldn't let him return to the Yen Gate. She wasn't blaming him, nor was she trying to expel him. She simply didn't want to burden him too much. If he made up his mind, he would give him a reason to let go of the Yen Gate. If he hesitated and chose to stay, Jin Gui naturally hoped that would happen. He didn't think that Jin Hong had anything to do with the Jiang family. Jin Gui and Jiang Jing were good friends, but Jin Gui was very disappointed with Jiang Jing's handling of Jin Hong's matter. When Jiang Jing had sent Jin Hong to Jin Gui, he had directly changed his surname. Jin Hong had been called Jin Hong for 10 years, and even Jin Hong himself had gotten used to his new surname. At that time, Jin Gui had asked Jiang Jing what was going on with this child. Jiang Jing told Jin Gui everything that had happened. Jiang Jing knew that this child was most likely the eldest son of the Jiang family. But the situation at the time forced Jiang Jing to not acknowledge this child. After all, Jiang Jing and his wife had just gotten married and she wasn't pregnant with Jiang Zixue yet. The purpose of marriage in big families didn't need to be said. Everyone knew. So Jiang Jing couldn't acknowledge Jin Hong's mother. He was very busy at the time and didn't know that Jin Hong's mother was pregnant. Jin Hong's mother also knew that if Jiang Jing knew in advance, he wouldn't have let this child be born. The birth of this child was a disaster for him. A mother's love was innate. Jin Hong's mother couldn't give up her child. She had never even thought of using this child to win anything from the Jiang family. She only needed this child. She could give up any status and hide everything in her heart. She could keep this secret forever. She would never let the child know that Jiang Jing was his father. Even so, her story was still heard by others. The Jiang family was a wealthy and influential family, so they always had to consider the family's interests and reputation when doing things. So, her death in childbirth was just an excuse. Originally, Jin Hong would not have been left behind, and would have been dealt with directly. But when Jiang Jing found out about this, he couldn't bear to do it. He forced Jin Hong to stay alive, but he couldn't give Jin Hong any status. He treated Jin Hong as a servant of the Jiang family, and he would definitely treat him the same way he would treat a servant. In fact, it wasn't that Jiang Jing didn't love her son. No matter what, he was still his own flesh and blood. Who could bear to be so cold to their own flesh and blood? Even a vicious tiger would not eat its cubs. However, Jiang Jing could only treat Jin Hong coldly, because he knew that his every word and action could bring trouble to the child. So he had to control his words and actions. For so many years, not only had Jin Hong suffered, but Jiang Jing had also suffered. However, no one could change the current situation. No one could change it. If time could start over, Jiang Jing might not have made such a choice. Unfortunately, time couldn't start over, and Jiang Jing would never have the chance to start over. What was done, and no one could change it. Whether Jiang Jing regretted it or not, no one could answer this question now. But as a friend, Jin Guoyi felt that he must have regretted what he had done. In any case, when Jiang Jing sent Jin Hong to Jin Guoyi, it was the best outcome for Jin Hong. Regardless of whether Jin Hong thought this result was right or wrong, at least Jiang Jing thought it was right. Especially at the moment of Jiang Jing's death, he felt that at least his bloodline was still in this world. All this was enough for him. The Jiang family could be destroyed, but as long as the fire seed was still there would be a day of glory. Jiang Jing firmly believed in this, which was why he could still smile when facing the purge of the 6 great families. Perhaps he would be regarded as the most useless successor of the Jiang family, but no one would be so comfortable in his position. It was difficult for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands, not to mention that he had to fight against the other 6 great families by himself. If he hadn't been at a disadvantage, the 6 great families wouldn't have been driven to desperation. There was heaven's will in the unseen world, and nothing could escape the arrangement of fate. For Jiang Jing, saying that his life was in his own hands was nonsense. He had been going against heaven's will, but in the end, he still couldn't save the Jiang family. Jin Guoyi knew Jiang Jing, and he also knew that Jiang Jing was a capable person. Unfortunately, in this kind of dispute, a capable person had no place to use his abilities. He could only be completely destroyed like a shooting star. Looking at the stars in the sky, Jin Guoyi shook his head helplessly. He knew that Jin Hong would not make the choice he thought was right. If he continued to wait like this, he would only be distressed and annoyed. Forget it, let him be. Jin Guoyi had already cultivated Jin Hong into a useful person, and he had already done right by Jiang Jing. Now that it was time for him to make his own choice, what right did he have to interfere? After all, Jin Hong was a member of the Jiang family, not Jin Guoyi's child. Su Yin, oh Su Yin, you really brought me trouble the moment you came. Jin Guoyi shook his head helplessly, then turned and left the bar. Once he left, he didn't look back. Inside the bar, Jin Hong had been silent the whole time. Besides drinking, he didn't seem to want to say anything. His mind was in a mess, and the struggle between himself and himself made people feel helpless. At this moment, Jin Hong couldn't make a decision. One was to pursue his own heart, and the other was to not disappoint his master. These were both things that Jin Hong cared about, so the decision became difficult. You couldn't have your cake and eat it too. This was a choice that everyone would encounter countless times in their life. However, Jin Hong's choice this time was particularly difficult. Su Yin was very clear about what Jin Hong was entangled with, but he couldn't give him advice and guidance on this kind of thing. This was completely a personal matter. No matter who intervened in this matter, it was unfair to Jin Hong. It couldn't be regarded as a help, but a kind of harm. Su Yin also drank quietly, waiting for Jin Hong to make a choice. There were more and more people in the bar, and more girls were sticking to the two. However, Su Yin and Jin Hong didn't have that kind of mood at all, and their expressions were so heavy. After seeing this situation, all the girls would think that this was a pair of good friends who had an unpleasant encounter, and were facing the test of breaking up. This was the plot that fujoshis liked, but there weren't many fujoshis in the bar. So soon, the two of them fell into their own world. Finally, when the second bottle of wine was almost finished, Jin Hong made a decision that he had thought about carefully. I think I should go with you. Jin Hong said, the Jiang family has become like this. If I choose to stand by and do nothing, I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. Su Yin nodded. This is your family's matter. I will support you and stand by your side no matter what choice you make. However, you should think about how to explain it to your master. There is no need to explain, Jin Hong said. Master said those words to me, which means that he can accept any choice I make. He will forgive any choice I make. Su Yin didn't speak. He poured all the wine in the bottle into their glasses. After drinking this glass of wine, I want to say goodbye, Jin Hong said. Su Yin nodded and raised his glass. Cheers. Chapter 2603. Su Yin and Jin Hong finished their last drink and hurriedly left the bar, even though Jin Gui said that he didn't need Jin Hong to go back. Jin Hong still insisted on going back to Yanmen. Although it was to say goodbye, he didn't disturb his master. He just knelt down at the door and kowtowed 3 times. Jin Hong knew very well what this departure meant. He knew that his master didn't want the Yanmen to get involved in the struggles of the underground world. This was because there was already a precedent. In order to pursue the thrill of the underground world's power and desires, he gave up everything he had, even his dignity, but he didn't have a good ending. Therefore, Jin Gui didn't like his own people getting involved. Yanmen's flying daggers was already an extinct sect, so he felt pressure. Su Yin actually felt sorry for old Mr. Jin. He really didn't expect things to develop like this. Before he came, he just wanted to find out some things. He definitely didn't expect there to be someone from the Jiang family in Yanmen. Moreover, it was this Jiang family's eldest son, who bore the burden of shame and injustice. Jin Hong was very useful to Su Yin. At least when he left the Jiang family, he was already 15 or 16 years old. At that time, his memory and mind were already mature. Therefore, as long as Jin Hong met someone from the other 6 families, he would have a certain impression of them. After all, he didn't come into contact with too many complicated matters in the Yanmen. His mind wouldn't be so messy. It was impossible for there to be any complicated situations. Jin Hong also had an advantage. He had obviously grown up, and was much more mature than 10 years ago. Moreover, he was a servant in the Jiang family back then. This way, no one would remember his appearance, and no one would recognize that he was a servant of the Jiang family from 10 years ago. This was Jin Hong's advantage. Even if he stood face to face with people from the other 6 families, he could recognize them, but they couldn't recognize him. This was perhaps the most advantageous card in Su Yin's hand. Jin Hong, even if you go back with me, I can't promise you anything, Su Yin said. You can see that no one thinks that I can win against the other 6 families. Jin Hong himself was not optimistic about himself. Of course, he was not optimistic about Su Yin, but now he had no other choice. Other than placing his hopes on Su Yin, there was no one else he could place his hopes on. I don't have the right to force you to do anything, Jin Hong said. It's already a blessing that you're willing to help the Jiang family. Now, I just hope that I can play a role in this matter. Su Yin nodded. Yes, there will definitely be something that requires you to make the most beneficial decision. Jin Hong was startled. You already have an idea? According to what you told me before, since the Tao family is so concerned about this matter, they will definitely try to kill everyone. Moreover, Tao Yinan is mainly in charge of the Jiang family's affairs. Su Yin continued, so, you think Tao Yinan has been chasing after Jiang Zixue? Jin Hong asked. It can only be a suspicion, Su Yin said. After all, we don't have any concrete evidence. However, there is one thing that we can be sure of. Jiang Zixue's safe return to Huaxia must have something to do with the Empress. As he spoke, Su Yin looked at Jin Hong. If we offend the Empress because of Jiang Zixue, I think those useless men in the Tao family will definitely shrink back. Jin Hong suddenly understood and nodded. Su Yin was right. There was indeed such a possibility. The men in the Tao family were like cowards when faced with such matters. It was absolutely not inconceivable that they would push Tao Yinan out. No matter what, I feel that this matter needs to be carried out, Su Yin said. Moreover, you also know some of Tao Yinan's hobbies and characteristics. I will think of an entry point carefully. Jin Hong really admired Su Yin's vision of the big picture. He could think of many things. He really didn't know how many lifetimes of virtue the Jiang family, had cultivated to be able to receive such a noble person's help in such a situation. If it wasn't for Su Yun, Jin Hong would have been kept in the dark. By the time he thought of the Jiang family, they would have already disappeared from this world. I have another request, Jin Hong said. If you see Jiang Zixue, I hope that you won't expose my identity. Su Yun was stunned. He didn't expect that Jin Hong didn't want to acknowledge his sister. This surprised Su Yun a little. After all, they were related by blood. Jin Hong and Jiang Zixue were like Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye. They had the same father but different mothers, but they were still related by blood. Blood was perhaps the most intimate relationship in this world. Why? Su Yun asked. Jin Hong shook his head. I don't know, but I just feel that it's a little inappropriate to meet at this time. Okay, I understand. Su Yun nodded. Your identity will be kept a secret for the time being, but I can't guarantee that it will be kept a secret forever. Do you understand what I mean? I'm saying that you can't keep it a secret forever. If there's a suitable opportunity, I will. Jin Hong said. The prerequisite is that I have to deal with this matter. Otherwise, this matter will not only affect me, but also Jiang Zixue's emotions. Su Yun could more or less understand Jin Hong's worries. I promise you, when you feel that the time is right, you can find an opportunity to talk about it. I won't get involved in your family matters. Thank you, Jin Hong said. Then when are we leaving? Su Yun shrugged. I'm afraid we can't today. After all, we drank a lot. It's still very dangerous to go on the highway in the middle of the night and face so many tired drivers. Jin Hong nodded. Then come back with me for the night. We'll leave tomorrow morning. You don't live in the Yen Gate. Su Yun was a little surprised. I usually live in the Yen Gate, Jin Hong said. Jin Hong said. But I would occasionally return home. I have a house in Jizhou. When Jiang Jing sent me over, he bought it for me. Your investment sense is definitely good, Su Yun said. The house you bought 10 years ago has at least increased by 5 times. Jin Hong smiled and didn't say anything. He directly pointed the way for Su Yun. After returning to Jin Hong's home, the two washed up and went to bed early. After waking up, the two went straight to Qingdao. In the 2 days since Su Yun came to Jizhou, Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi had been looking for him in Yanjing. Looking at the Ferrari supercars passing by Yanjing from time to time, the two felt like their heads were about to explode. How were they going to find him? From the inner city of the second ring road to the outer city of the second ring road, then to the third ring road, then to the fourth ring road, then to the fifth ring road, then to the sixth ring road. The fifth ring road. You have one more ring road than the fourth ring road. The fifth ring road. You have one less ring road than the sixth ring road. The radio in the car suddenly played such a song. The two were so angry that they almost wanted to smash the car. They had been searching for 2 whole days. From the beginning until now, they hadn't dared to close their eyes and rest for even a minute. Even so, the Ferrari was still missing. The biggest problem the two of them faced now was how to explain it to Tao Yinan. The two of them had thoroughly experienced Miss Tao's temper. Unless they didn't want to live, they couldn't tell Miss Tao that they had lost them again. Even if Tao Yinan called to ask, the two of them could only say that they were still following them. They would first fool her, and then continue to search for the car. Chapter 2604. Su Yun brought Jin Hong back to Guqin Island, and told everyone what had happened. The shock it caused was no small matter. There was still a man in the Jiang family that had been wiped out. This was equivalent to leaving behind an inextinguishable flame. The 6 great clans worked together to eliminate the root of the problem. What was the meaning of eliminating the root of the problem? He wanted to completely uproot the foundation of the Jiang family, and completely destroy the Jiang family. Not to mention a man, they wouldn't even let go of a woman like Jiang Zixue. Therefore, this was a huge shock to the 6 great clans and to anyone else. As long as no one knew Jin Hong's identity, the 6 great clans couldn't be considered a complete success. They still gave the Jiang family a chance to rise from the ashes. As long as the bloodline was still there, the Jiang family would still have a chance to rise again. This was the significance of Jin Hong's identity. Even if he didn't want to admit his identity as a member of the Jiang family, it wouldn't change this fact. Moreover, Jin Hong couldn't return to Jin Guoyi's side in the future. Jin Guoyi had already given his word. Jin Hong had no other choice other than to rebuild the Jiang family. Of course, these were all things for the future. Whether they could survive or not was another matter. The information Jin Hong gave them was very useful, especially regarding Taoyi Nan's hobbies. Now Su Yun called everyone together to discuss a way to lure Taoyi Nan out. Of course, Su Yun couldn't be sure that the person who eliminated the root of the problem was the Tao family, nor could he be sure that it was Taoyi Nan. After all, Taoyi Nan was the most suspicious person. We'll use whatever the target likes to lure her out, Zhuo Meiyan said. Since she likes red wine, we'll do as Su Yun said. Go to Yifala and get a bottle of absolute treasure. For people who like red wine, what's more tempting than this? Wine isn't a problem. The problem is how to let the target know about this bottle of wine. Su Yun shook his head. We can't show it off everywhere, right? Bai Xiaoya said. Absolutely not. They'll always be taken out to show off. Most of the time they're not valuable. Good things are kept low-key and hidden away. He had to think of a good way to let Taoyi Nan smell the red wine. Only then would it be possible to lure the fish out. If even the fish couldn't be lured out, then it would be meaningless. I have an idea, but I don't know if it will work, Ruan Qingshuang said. When everyone's eyes were focused on Ruan Qingshuang said faintly, organize a charity auction. Everyone was stunned. Of course, I can't just take out a bottle of red wine. I have to take out something else. Ruan Qingshuang said, we are an entertainment company. If we let these A-listers take out something each, they won't mind. But if they take out something for auction, it will be meaningful. When Ruan Qingshuang said this, everyone was enlightened. Then we can take out a bottle of red wine in the name of Sky Entertainment Group. The more precious the wine, the better. No one will suspect that the rich Sky Entertainment Group will take out fake wine. Ruan Qingshuang said. This will make it easier for publicity. After all, it's a good thing for charity. Whether it's a genuine charity or a publicity stunt, many people will participate. Zhuo Meiyan really admired Ruan Qingshuang. This idea is really great. Why didn't we think of it? He even did a promotion for Sky Entertainment and increased its brand value. Ruan Qingshuang said. Charity itself is a good thing, don't you think? Of course this is great. Su Yun said. Even if we don't catch the big fish, it's still a contribution to charity. Yes. Ruan Qingshuang smiled. Even if this doesn't happen, we should think of a way to do charity. Then this matter is settled. Zhuo Meiyan said. I'll ask the publicity department to start promoting this matter tomorrow. The auction will be held in the banquet hall on the first floor of the movie hotel. I'll ask the PR department to invite celebrities from all walks of life. During the promotion, the main thing is to promote the red wine. Su Yun said. Zhuo Meiyan nodded. Then you should prepare for this matter now. Ask Yifala to send the best wine to us immediately. Su Yun didn't dare to waste any more time. He immediately called Yifala and made his request. Yifala naturally agreed to Su Yun's request. She immediately went to find the red wine she thought was the most valuable, and then asked Changzi to drive to Su Yun without stopping. Because this matter needed to be solved as soon as possible, the promotion time was short, so the promotion had to be done more vigorously. Fortunately, Zhuo Meiyan was an expert in this field. She only needed 2 days to make this matter a hot topic on Qingdao. In addition, with the support of the celebrities and the development of the internet, it was very easy to make a big deal out of it. Soon, such a big movement completely alarmed the whole Qingdao. Although it was only 2 days of preparation time, many celebrities took out things that they thought could be auctioned off as charity funds. Who wouldn't want to take out something that wasn't very valuable to be on the news? The next day, Taoyi Nan saw the news on her mobile phone. The biggest charity auction party of the year would be held in the Qingdao Movie Hotel. All celebrities were welcome to sign up for the invitation. At first, what attracted Taoyi Nan was not the charity auction party, but the Qingdao Movie Hotel. Because this was the hotel where Jiang Zixue's red Ferrari had appeared, she was interested in it. Soon, Taoyi Nan was attracted by something else. That's right, It was a bottle of red wine at the auction. The auction item was introduced like this. Many people only have one bottle of expensive red wine in the world. That's right, it was the 1787 Chateau Lafite. On December 5, 1985, Christie's auction house in London sold it for £105,000. The buyer was Malcolm Forbes, the publisher of Forbes magazine. The seller was Hardy Rodenstock, a German wine collector. This bottle of Chateau Lafite once belonged to the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. His initials were engraved on the bottle, THJ. However, not many people knew that there was more than one bottle of Chateau Lafite in the world. Another bottle of Chateau Lafite from 1787 was on the night of the Qingdao charity auction. After reading the introduction, Tao Yinan's eyes were shining. She really couldn't believe that Chateau Lafite from 1787 still existed in the world. Of course, it was not that it didn't exist, but that someone would be willing to auction it. Because the person who wanted to own Chateau Lafite must be someone who valued red wine more than their own life. Her thinking was right. Although this bottle of Chateau Lafite wasn't collected by Yi Fala, it was still the bottle of red wine that she was most reluctant to part with. It wasn't a matter of money, because this bottle of red wine was now priceless. The £100,000 sold in 1985 was worth more than 1 million yuan. Although this wasn't the most expensive red wine to be sold, the most expensive was the 1992 Howling Eagle Cabernet Sauvignon dry red wine. It was sold at the Napa Valley Wine Auction in 2000 for $500,000. Of course, this was for charity. When it was for charity, the price would always be high. And a bottle of Chateau Lafite from 1787 wasn't the price of a charity auction. If it was placed in today's charity auction, the price would probably be so high that ordinary people wouldn't dare to touch it. How could Tao Yinan not be moved? This was something that many people yearned for even in their dreams. Chapter 2605. Tao Yinan stared at the webpage for a long time. She was not interested in anything else. Costumes worn by screen stars, small accessories worn by popular actors, these were all rubbish to Tao Yinan. They were worthless. But Chateau Lafite 1787 made her eyes shine. She didn't care about anything. She would pay any price to get this bottle of Chateau Lafite. Tao Yinan dialed a number without any hesitation. This person could help her with some things she needed to do in Huaxia. Although an invitation to the Sky Entertainment Hotel was not easy to get, Tao Yinan could get it as long as she was willing to pay the price. In today's society, there were very few problems and things that money couldn't solve. Tao Yinan liked this kind of society very much. As long as she had money, she could do anything. Money was perhaps the easiest problem to solve for the Tao family, one of the 7 big families. She didn't care at all. She spent the money of a supercar to buy this bottle of Chateau Lafite 1787, while she was working in Huaxia. Tasting it while upset would definitely make her feel very happy. The purpose of the charity auction was to let more people understand the meaning of charity and learn to help others. At the same time, it would also raise a certain amount of money for people in need. This was a meaningful social welfare activity. After all, some things happened in society now that the credibility of charity and public welfare was questioned by society from all walks of life. Some things still needed to be corrected. Su Yun's favorite thing was to use the influence of the Sky Entertainment Group to solve some problems in this area. Money was a worldly possession. When you were born, you didn't bring it with you. When you died, you didn't bring it with you. Su Yun didn't care. He never felt that he had any sense of accomplishment when he accumulated tens of billions or hundreds of billions. Looking at the rich people on the Forbes list, what was the point of having hundreds of billions? After they died, they would still occupy a palm-sized piece of land. No one would build a mansion hundreds of acres to bury them. Even if there was, it would be dug up by the foundation of the building after a few years. Even if it couldn't be dug up, it would be robbed by grave robbers sooner or later. Nowadays, there were so many novels about grave robbers, and young people were so fascinated by them that they all took it seriously. If there was really a Luoyang shovel tornado hammer or something, a hole would be poked in 2 or 3 times. Therefore, worldly possessions were meaningless, at least for Su Yun. Perhaps it was because he was not short of money that he felt that money was nothing. To be able to turn this charity auction into something like this, even if we didn't manage to lure out the person we were supposed to, it's still worth it. Jiang Zixue was also looking forward to what would happen next. Suyun was really very satisfied. Of course, although it was unknown whether he could lure out the person who should be lured out, Jiang Zixue's safety must be guaranteed. Suyun had told Jiang Zixue everything, so Jiang Zixue agreed to move into Suyun's house. It was also at this time that Suyun introduced Jin Hong to Jiang Zixue. He did not mention anything about Jin Hong's identity, but Jiang Zixue was still quite surprised when she saw Jin Hong. "Why do you look so familiar to me?" Jiang Zixue kept sizing up Jin Hong. Her memories told her that she definitely knew this person. Jin Hong never thought that Jiang Zixue would be able to recognize him. "I remember," Jiang Zixue suddenly said excitedly. "I remember that when I was very young, you helped me pick pomegranates. You are a member of our Jiang family." Jin Hong was really emotional at this moment. How many years had it been? But Jiang Zixue could still remember it now. "You didn't look so mature when you were very young, right?" Suyun was a little confused. What if not only Jiang Zixue could recognize him, but Taui Nan could too? Jin Hong was speechless. No matter how anxious he was, he would not look so anxious. Fortunately, Jiang Zixue helped him explain. "Of course he didn't look like this when he was young. It's just that I can recognize him because of his characteristics. His facial features are. I can't describe it, but I can recognize him." "That's good, Suyun. At least it means that he is a normal person." Jiang Zixue said. "What's your name again?" "Jin." Jin Hong suddenly thought of something and changed his words. "Jiang Hong." Yes. "Jiang Hong." Jiang Zixue said. "I remember you. I remember you very clearly. But why did you suddenly leave in a day?" "Because of some family matters," Jin Hong said lightly. He didn't want to lie to Jiang Zixue, but in this situation he couldn't say anything more. "I really didn't expect to see you in this place," Jiang Zixue said. "Are you friends with Suyun?" Suyun smiled. "We are old friends. We have known each other for 10 years. "Are you kidding? 10 years ago, Jin Hong was still in our Jiang family." Jiang Zixue had no problem remembering some of the things that happened before. "I met Suyun not long after I left the Jiang family," Jin Hong said. "We are indeed old friends." "Then you are also working in Qingdao?" Jiang Zixue was really interested in Jin Hong's current situation. To be able to meet someone she was familiar with was really like a fantasy for Jiang Zixue. "I am in Jizhou City. I am just passing by Qingdao. I just want to see him." Jin Hong lied to Jiang Zixue. Jiang Zixue didn't doubt it. She nodded. "That is really too coincidental." Jin Hong wasn't stupid enough to ask Jiang Zixue why she was in Qingdao. He didn't mention anything about Jiang Zixue's current situation. Jiang Zixue had been worried that Jin Hong would ask her these things. Fortunately, he didn't say much. Jiang Zixue heaved a sigh of relief. Everyone chatted together for a while. Then, Zuomeyan booked a place outside and everyone went to eat together. The auction was approaching. Other than Jiang Zixue, who would stay at home for the auction tomorrow, Chou Yun and Wan Qingshuang would also stay at home. Everyone else had their own arrangements. Zuomeyan and Bai Xiaoye were the representatives of the event organizer, so they would definitely be there. As for Su Yun and Jin Hong, they definitely wouldn't be left behind. Lin Ge and Jiesu would also be fully armed and guarding by their sides. If anything were to happen, they would be indispensable guardians. There were still many details that needed to be handled. However, these weren't troublesome matters for Su Yun. He had already grasped most of the aspects. The rest would depend on his ability to adapt on the spot. Everyone was prepared to face the most difficult battle. At the same time, they were also prepared to accept their disappointment. Jiang Zixue knew that all of this was done for her sake. That night, she was very touched. Even though she knew in her heart that everyone was helping her because of Zuo Lingyue, she was still very touched by what everyone had done for her. "I don't know what to say to all of you. I only know that it is my greatest honor to be able to meet all of you." This was the only thing that Jiang Zixue wanted to say. She had toasted too many people that night. In the end, she didn't even know how many cups she had drunk. However, she was very sober the entire time. Perhaps it was because of her mood that her alcohol tolerance doubled. Jiang Zixue's personality was very likable. At the very least, it didn't make people feel annoyed. This was also a kind of ability that could make people like her personality. Jin Hong was probably the most depressed person that night. Too many thoughts made it difficult for him to integrate into the joyous atmosphere. He was very nervous. No matter what, he couldn't understand how Su Yun could still be so relaxed in such a tense situation. With regards to this, Jin Hong was full of admiration. Chapter 2606. The auction was in full swing on the second night. The arrival of celebrities from all walks of life made the entire movie hotel look even more magnificent. Su Yun and the others were all present. In order to make Yu Er lose her caution, Su Yun even thought of an even more exaggerated method. The other party definitely knew about Jiang Zixue's red Ferrari, but now they thought that the target car had already left Qingdao. If the car could appear in Qingdao again at this time, once the other party really came here, they would definitely be surprised. Therefore, before the auction started, Su Yun directly asked Jie Yi to drive Jiang Zixue's red Ferrari to a conspicuous parking space in the movie hotel in the company's underground parking lot. In this way, once the other party really came here and saw the car, they would have a normal, calm reaction. That would definitely be beneficial to Su Yun. Of course, this was a big gamble. If the other party didn't come in person, but one of his subordinates came and saw the Ferrari, then Su Yun wouldn't benefit at all. This was a gamble that the other party would appear here. Whether or not Taoyi Nan, who loved red wine as much as her life, would be present was the key to their success today. Everything was in anticipation. Celebrities all rushed to Sky Entertainment Movie Hotel. Real estate tycoons, business tycoons, film and television tycoons, superstars. These weren't a problem at all. All the important people in the Guqin Islands leadership team were present. Because this activity was strictly regulated, the level of security was also very high. Fortunately, Chen Wei, the director of the Public Security Bureau, was very close to Su Yun, so some things were very easy to communicate and deal with. After all, the entire security department of Sky Entertainment was very perfect, and the people under them were not to be trifled with. Su Yun also arranged for Shirley to be in charge of the security work, so safety wasn't a problem. No matter how big the people in this event were, the most important person was still Su Yun. He wouldn't show up on behalf of Sky Entertainment. In this case, he wanted to keep a low profile. Zhuo Meiyan's face was enough to support the event. Su Yun, on the other hand, only greeted and communicated with a few of the big shots in private. As for the others, Su Yun would not shake hands with them one by one, let alone put himself on the stage. Su Yun didn't want to show his face in front of the media. He felt that it was better to keep a low profile. He wasn't an artist who relied on exposure to make a living. Su Yun only had one mission today, and that was to keep an eye on the person who wanted to take down the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite with Jin Hong. This was their only goal. The best seat in the entire venue naturally belonged to Su Yun, and everyone present had an invitation letter in their hands. When Taoyi Nan arrived at Sky Entertainment Hotel, she was immediately attracted by the red Ferrari parked at the entrance. Although the woman didn't know much about cars and didn't even know that the T in a car meant turbo, she could recognize this Ferrari at a glance. She didn't know the model number, and didn't know if it was a 488 or a 599, or an FF. She only knew that it was a Ferrari. It was Jiang Zixue's Ferrari. At some point, Taoyi Nan even felt that her blood pressure was a little high. That's right, it was from anger. This was because at noon today, Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi called her to report the situation. They said that they had been following Jiang Zixue's Ferrari in Yanjing, but they couldn't find a good opportunity to take action. She always went to crowded places, and they were worried that once they took action, it would cause too much noise. Taoyi Nan wouldn't blame them for this, because she was the one who arranged for them to be low-key and cautious. Taoyi Nan also hoped that this matter would be handled cleanly, and no one would know. This way, Even if the Empress couldn't produce any evidence to prove it, she wouldn't be able to make things difficult for her. Therefore, Tao Nan was very supportive of the way her two subordinates handled things. She even encouraged them to be careful and didn't care if they wasted more time. This wasn't a big deal at all. Who would have thought that all of this was a lie, a deception? Jiang Zixue's red Ferrari was obviously parked at Sky Entertainment Hotel. What were they looking at in Yanjing? A ghost. Even if Jiang Zixue was rich, she wouldn't be so stupid as to buy two Ferraris, one to drive and one to look at. That would be crazy. Tao Nan tried her best to remain calm. It was also at this moment that she became vigilant. She carefully observed everyone around her, and one could see the anticipation in her eyes. She hoped to find Jiang Zixue's figure in the crowd. However, it didn't seem that easy to find one person in this big event with more than 100 people. There was still some time before the auction started, so Tao Nan wasn't in a hurry to enter the venue. She walked to the washroom unhurriedly, closed the door, and dialed Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi's cell phone number. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi had just finished running around Yanjing City. They walked into the restaurant empty-handed, and didn't even have the mood to order dishes. Seeing that it was Miss Tao, Tao Ruhu carefully picked up the phone and said, "Miss Tao, what can I do for you?" "Are the two of you still busy?" Tao Nan asked indifferently. Tao Ruhu glanced at Tao Tianyi, and Tao Tianyi nodded his head vigorously. Tao Ruhu then replied, "We are still keeping an eye on it." "Have you eaten?" Tao Nan's little concern made the two of them feel a surge of warmth in their hearts. Not yet," Tao Ruhu said. He wasn't lying, but he didn't want Miss Tao's concern to lose its color. "Because I didn't dare to take my eyes off it, I didn't have time to eat." Tao Tianyi secretly gave him a thumbs up. He was very satisfied with Tao Ruhu's answer. "No matter how important the matter is, you still have to eat," Tao Nan said. "If you're too hungry, it's very easy for people to make mistakes." Hearing this, Tao Ruhu's expression didn't look right. Miss Tao's words had a hidden meaning. Tao Tianyi also became vigilant. He indicated for Tao Ruhu to give him the phone. "Miss Tao, it's me. Please don't worry, we will definitely take care of ourselves," Tao Tianyi said. "We will buy some simple fast food and eat in the car." "Do you still want to continue lying to me?" Tao Nan snorted. "Do you want to find someone else to continue?" "Miss Tao, I don't know what you mean," Tao Tianyi said. Tao Nan said bluntly, "You said that you were still watching Jiang Zixue's car. If I say that I want to video call you right now, and let you see the situation around you, would you dare?" Tao Tianyi broke out in cold sweat. He really didn't know what was wrong with Miss Tao. It was as if she suddenly saw through them. "Let me tell the two of you. If you did something wrong, admit it in time and I will definitely forgive you," Tao Nan said. "But if you use deceit to gain my trust, then I'm afraid that we will need some time to talk things out." Tao Tianyi was silent. He didn't know how to respond. "Do you know that your deceit will delay important matters?" Tao Nan suddenly lost control of her emotions. Seeing this, Tao Ruhu gritted his teeth and snatched the phone from Tao Tianyi's hand. "Miss Tao, you really don't have to worry. Everything is under our control. The car is indeed lost, but we can guarantee that she is in Yanjing. Please give us 2 more days. We will definitely find her." Tao Nan harumphed. "Even if I give you 100 days, you won't be able to find her in Yanjing." Tao Ruhu was startled. Hearing Tao Nan's confident tone, she must have known something. "Because Jiang Zixue's car is in Qingdao." Tao Nan said angrily, "I really don't know what kind of dog eyes you have. You actually chased her all the way to Yanjing. But I can tell you very clearly that Jiang Zixue's red Ferrari is parked in Qingdao's Sky Entertainment Movie Hotel." Boom. This news was like a thunderclap to Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi. Impossible. How could this be possible? They had clearly chased after the car all this time. Why did he suddenly run back to the Guqin Island by himself? "I gave the two of you a chance, but what did you prove to me? You are still 2 pieces of trash." Tao Nan said coldly, "I don't need any explanation from you. Get the hell back here right now. Don't waste any more time." Chapter 2607. After hanging up the phone, Tao Nan couldn't calm herself down for a long time. This kind of anger was something that she rarely got angry about. But this time it was different. This time she couldn't hold it in anymore. After coming to Huaxia, Tao Nan couldn't bear the frustration anymore. She had to change. Tao Nan was very disappointed that Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi were useless. But if she wanted to solve the problem with her own strength, she had a lot of worries and concerns. Some things had to be considered. She had to be careful. After sorting out her emotions, Tao Nan walked out of the bathroom. There were still more than 10 minutes before the auction started. Almost all the people who had received the invitation had arrived at the venue. Tao Nan walked into the venue on her high heels and found her seat. 99. She liked this number because 9 was the largest number of a single number. She liked this largest number. Tao Nan believed that this number would bring her good luck. Although Tao Nan was in a very bad mood, everything was different because of the 1787 Chateau Lafite tonight. As long as Tao Nan could get this bottle of red wine, all the unhappiness would be swept away. She always felt that her happiness came from such a simple thing. As long as she could satisfy what she wanted, everything would be enough. There were no empty seats in the auction hall. Everyone came here with a purpose in mind. Everyone wanted to get what they wanted. Seeing that the auction was about to start, the famous host of Qingdao, Yu Jie, appeared on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I know that everyone is excited at the moment, but don't worry, our charity auction is about to start. Tao Nan wasn't in the mood to listen to the host's warm-up words. The only thing in her mind was the 1787 Chateau Lafite. Soon the auction officially started. Because it was the home of Tianyu Group, there was no lack of celebrities. The popular singer's voice soon attracted everyone's attention. After the two programs warmed up, the host said something and the first auction item was brought to the stage. This was the filming equipment used in a blockbuster movie that had a box office success. It was an awesome introduction that not many people could understand. Such a thing that could be said to be obsolete was sold at a price of 300,000. This was the meaning of charity auctions. Regardless of whether something was valuable or not, it could be sold at a price that was completely out of line with its value. This was something that only existed for charity. Soon after, the second auction item appeared. Tao Nan was even less interested in this item. It was a piece of clothing worn by a superstar. Of course, this piece of clothing was worn by the superstar himself when he was filming his most famous movie. The clothes were at least 10 years old, and there were even parts that were damaged. It was said that they were damaged during the filming of the movie. Such an item was sold for 800,000 yuan. This was the power of influence. Superstar media's lousy clothes could be sold for $800,000. Fortunately, the money was all for charity. The more he sold, the happier Su Yin was. Following that, the third auction item was brought out one after another. The cheapest item was sold for more than 100,000 yuan, while the most expensive one was sold for 1 or 2 million yuan. Tao Nan's mind wasn't on the auction items at all. She looked around the hall, hoping to see Jiang Zixue. However, after checking a few times, she was sure that Jiang Zixue wasn't there. Next, she looked at the people who, like her, hadn't raised their cards yet. Tao Nan believed that these people probably had the same goal as her. They were all waiting for the bottle of red wine. Time ticked by, and 2 more performances were performed. The charity auction was still going on. Soon it was 10 o'clock. The product that Sky Entertainment Corporation had spent a lot of time and effort to promote was finally brought out after a long wait. 1787 Chateau Lafite. At this time, the host was very excited. Everyone here knows that we are here today for a very important auction item. Now let's bring it to our stage. After the hostess pushed the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite onto the stage, the hall was filled with discussions. Tao Nan knew that a lot of people's eyes were locked on the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite. There were at least 20 people who hadn't raised their cards yet. Tao Nan was sure that these people weren't just here for sightseeing. As you have no doubt heard, on December 5, 1985, a bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite was sold at Christie's in London for £105,000. The buyer was Malcolm Forbes, the publisher of Forbes magazine. and the seller was Hardy Rodenstock, a German wine collector. Moreover, this bottle once belonged to the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. His initials were engraved on the bottle, THJ. The host introduced with a smile. But today we have the same bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite. I wonder who will be lucky enough to get it. The red cover was opened, and the precious bottle of wine was revealed. Taoi Nan's eyes couldn't help but shine. It was obvious that she really wanted this bottle of red wine. For a woman who loved red wine as much as her life, this was definitely more satisfying than any luxury bag. It's the same as all our previous auction items. The starting price is £10,000. The host smiled and said, however, I believe that everyone should know that in 1985, the same bottle was sold for over £100,000 in London. That means that it is worth at least £1 million. Taoi Nan had been waiting for this bottle of red wine for a long time. All right, I'm sure everyone can't wait any longer. I won't waste everyone's time. The auction for this bottle of red wine will begin now. As soon as the words were said, someone couldn't wait to raise his card. 1 million. The person who raised his card was number 12. Taoi Nan noticed that he was also the person who hadn't bid before. He must be a person who was determined to get it. However, this price was just a starting price at most. He just called out the real starting price, excluding those who didn't understand red wine, and those who didn't like red wine. 1,500,000. Before the auctioneer even had time to speak, number 64 raised his card and called out his price. This was a person who spent £800,000 on a shabby dress. If he dared to do so, he must be very strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to bid like this. 1,800,000. Without a second's pause, number 7 immediately refreshed the price. The competition was quite strong. Taoi Nan smiled slightly. She wasn't in a hurry. People who bid at the beginning often couldn't last until the end. This was a psychological cue. If the first bid was more than 1 million, when the price reached 20 million, the price would be 20 times higher. However, if the first bid was 10 million, then the next bid would only be 2 times higher. Therefore, Taoi Nan wasn't in a hurry. She didn't treat the initial bid as the starting price at all. She would treat the price after the first round as the starting price before bidding. 2,300,000. 3 million. The following two bids almost didn't stop. Obviously, everyone's interest in this bottle of wine was far higher than other things. Taoi Nan sat quietly, waiting for the price to continue to double. She was afraid that even if it doubled, there would still be people fighting for it. 4 million. When the price began to increase by the millions, some people gave up competing. Even if it was for charity, it should be within the scope of their ability. It should be known that 4 million was enough to buy a house in first-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. Although these people didn't care about this level of house at all, and lived in mansions worth tens of millions, it was still undeniable that the price of a bottle of red wine was different in these people's hearts. Chapter 2608. When the bidders began to increase the price, Su Yun had been silently observing. He had arranged for Jin Hong to bid, but the price had not yet arrived. Moreover, these bidders were all men, and Su Yun was waiting for Taoi Nan, a woman. When the price of this bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite reached 8 million, Su Yun even gave up. Perhaps they were too idealistic, and Taoi Nan might not even be at the scene. Let's stimulate it. Su Yun said to Jin Hong. If the provocation this time still couldn't force them out, then he would really have to make other plans. Jin Hong nodded and raised his card for the first time. 10 million. A bottle of red wine, just a bottle of red wine. The price had broken through 8 digits. 10 million could buy a small duplex of more than 200 square meters in Beijing's 4th Ring Road. When the price of 10 million came out, the audience seemed to be quiet. The price increased from 1 million to 2 million, and several people withdrew from the competition for this red wine. Number 12, who was the first to bid, could not help but frown. This was almost beyond his acceptable range. But for this bottle of red wine, he still wanted to make a final struggle. 12 million. This was his last bid. If the hammer fell, Although he felt that his flesh was being cut, there was nothing he could not endure for this red wine. Su Yin smiled helplessly. It seemed that someone really wanted this bottle of wine. This price was even beyond Su Yin's tolerance. 10 million was the estimated price Su Yin estimated for this bottle of wine. This price was calculated by him. In 1985, it could be sold for a price equivalent to 1 million yuan. Now the price was 5 times higher, so it should be the same value. In addition, this was a charity auction. If the price was doubled, it would be about 10 million. Therefore, the price reaching this level already exceeded Su Yin's expectations. Su Yin could be considered to represent the mentality of the majority. When the price of 12 million was called, everyone at the scene seemed to fall into a state of waiting for the hammer to fall. Mr. from number 12 has bid 12 million. I can see that this bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite is really priceless. It's definitely a treasure that's suitable for a wine lover's collection. The auctioneer said. Now 12 million going once. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? This was the first time the auctioneer had called out such a thing. Number 12 seemed to have seen the dawn of victory. Although the price was a little more than he had expected, he could still leave happily if he could get it. 12 million going twice. After all, the auctioneer was an experienced person. Since the price had already reached this point, there were basically no big changes. Who wouldn't want to get off work early? The auctioneer had the same mentality. However, just as he was about to shout for the third strike, a new troublemaker entered the fray. 15 million. Tao Yinan raised the number 99 sign in her hand. She knew that there were no more competitors now. She only needed to raise the price even higher, and she would be able to win it easily. Moreover, the price in her heart was 20 million, so this was really a little too cheap for her. 15 million. The whole audience was stunned. Not only was number 12 shocked, but even the auctioneer was shocked. The wooden hammer in his hand almost fell to the ground. Of course, the most shocked people were Su Yin and his people. His sixth sense told Su Yin that the person he had been waiting for had finally opened her mouth. That's right, this time it's absolutely impossible to escape. It must be. Many people's eyes were focused on Tao Yinan. Tao Yinan slowly put down the auction sign in her hand and smiled. 15 million. Number 99, this lady has already bid 15 million. The auctioneer said excitedly. Number 12 was a little angry, but he really didn't dare to call out anymore. However, if he gave up at this time, he really wouldn't be willing. 15,500,000. Number 12's increase this time was much more stingy. He didn't have that kind of courage. This was just a provocation because he was unwilling to give up. 20 million. Tao Yinan casually raised her sign again, not giving her opponent any chance to breathe at all. This was definitely an instant kill. Number 12 was instantly reduced to ashes. The whole audience quietly looked at the woman who bid 20 million for a bottle of red wine. 20 million going once. The auctioneer was panicking. 20 million going twice. No one would continue to bid. This was a completely sky-high price. Su Yin looked at Jin Hong. Jin Hong nodded. Although he still couldn't see the person clearly, his intuition told him that a woman with this kind of aura was probably only Miss Tao of the Tao family. 20 million going thrice. In the end, the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite fell into Tao Yinan's hands at a sky-high price. Tao Yinan was naturally happy to get this bottle of red wine at a price that was acceptable to her. All the auction items had come to an end. The people who bought the items felt comfortable in their hearts. They all got up and went backstage to do some procedures. Those who didn't get anything had no regrets. After all, this was a charity party. These things weren't that important or necessary. Su Yin and Jin Hong also quickly got up and went backstage. Jin Hong still needed to see the person clearly in order to be more certain. About 10 minutes later, Tao Yinan came backstage to handle the auction procedures. Although the procedures weren't troublesome, it still took time to deal with them. It was at this time that Jin Hong approached and made a judgment on Tao Yinan at close range. Su Yin looked at the woman wearing the sky-high boots and a Bulgari necklace from a distance. Intuition told Su-yun that everything he did wasn't in vain. They found the person they were looking for. Jin Hong also came back quickly and reported everything he saw to Su-yun. I can 100% confirm that she is Tao Inan of the Tao family. I promise I didn't see it wrong. With Jin Hong's final judgment, this matter didn't need to be explained anymore. I think sometimes some things really need to be answered. Su-yun. It's not too late to wait for her to finish the charity. Su-yun smiled. After all, she had already spent the money. If he didn't take the wine back now, it would be too embarrassing. Jin Hong understood Su-yun's meaning. The two of them left quietly and went outside to meet Lin Gu and Jiewon. Jiewon took out his phone and took a photo. It was the scene of Tao Inan staring at the red Ferrari in a daze. Now, it could be said that Tao Inan's identity could be confirmed from all aspects. Zhou Meiyan and the others were handling the matters inside. Su-yun took care of Tao Inan's matter. Brother, what should we do next? Lin Gu said. Wait for her to come out and press her down. No need to be so anxious. Su-yun. That way, she will think that we are trying to steal her wine. Let's wait for her to come out and follow her. See where she goes. Lin Gu nodded. And it's more polite to visit her. Yes. Su-yun. Such an important guest is coming to Qingdao. Of course, we have to pay attention to our etiquette. As the saying goes, isn't it a joy to have friends coming from afar? We can't scare them. The four of them prepared 4 cars and stared at them from different places. About an hour later, Tao Inan walked out of the hotel with the red wine that she had spent 20 million yuan on. The waiter drove her car to the entrance. Tao Inan seemed to be in a good mood. She even tipped the waiter 100 yuan. Then, she got into the car and quickly left the hotel. Su-yun and the other 3 also drove out separately. Because many people were leaving the hotel at this time, there were more cars. No one would notice that others were following their car. Everyone was the same. They were all leaving after attending the auction. Tao Inan's bad mood became better because of the bottle of red wine. She listened to her favorite songs all the way back to the Intercontinental Ocean Hotel. She didn't care that there were cars following her. Chapter 2609. Watching Tao Inan's car drive into the Intercontinental Hotel, Su-yun and the others followed closely behind. Luxurious life, tasteful, liked high heels, and was addicted to red wine. Even without Jin Hong's identification, Su-yun was 80% sure that this person was Tao Inan he was looking for. Staying in the best hotel in Qingdao, she naturally didn't care about money. It wasn't rare to spend 20 million to buy a bottle of red wine. Lin Gu followed first to determine the location of the room. It was easy to be exposed if there were too many people. Su-yun and the others all went to the front desk and pretended to inquire about the price of the room. From beginning to end, Tao Inan didn't have the slightest suspicion. Perhaps all her thoughts were on this bottle of priceless red wine. At this moment, all of Tao Inan's good mood was placed on this bottle of wine. If she didn't get this bottle of Chateau Lafite 1787 today, she would probably live in a haze. The feeling of being deceived by her subordinates would make Tao Inan's heart collapse. Tao Inan entered the elevator and pressed the button for her floor, while Lin Gu pressed the button for a few floors ahead. When the elevator arrived, he quickly ran up the stairs. When Tao Inan came to this floor, Lin Gu secretly determined her room number. This floor was full of luxurious presidential suites, and all of them were rich and noble people. Lin Gu quickly went downstairs and told the room number. Su-yun nodded to show that he understood the current situation. They could touch the place they wanted to touch immediately. Su-yun was naturally more cautious. The 4 of them carried out a comprehensive inspection inside and outside the hotel. In the end, they were shocked because the place where Tao Inan was at was not protected by anyone. It was as if she was alone. Everything felt particularly smooth. Even Su-yun felt that they were too lucky in this matter. Brother, let's just detain her now. After all, this is our territory. We can't let her live so freely here. Lin Gu said. She is too comfortable. All of you, keep an eye on her. I'll go meet her alone. Su-yun said. After all, the management of the Intercontinental Hotel is very strict. If the surveillance cameras see so many of us entering a female guest's room, They will definitely be suspicious. The others nodded. Soo-yun got up and walked towards the elevator. He wanted to see if this Miss Tao of the Tao family really had 3 heads and 6 arms. He wanted to see just how capable she was. Taoinan had no idea what was about to happen. She tried her best not to think about those unpleasant things. After returning to her room, she took out the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite that she had bought at a sky-high price. At this moment, Taoinan only wanted to take a flower petal bath and taste this 20 million wine. A bottle of red wine was 750 milliliters. Even a small amount of wine would fill at least 50 milliliters. This bottle of wine was enough for 15 people to taste. However, Taoinan did not intend to share this wine with anyone. This wine could only be tasted by her alone. It was not up to anyone else to share it. Taoinan made a call and asked the hotel to make her a Kobe steak. Although she was not hungry right now, she felt that there should be some side dishes for this bottle of Chateau Lafite. The Intercontinental Hotel's room service was very good, and the ingredients were definitely the best in the world. Taoinan was not worried about that. Less than 5 minutes after Taoinan called for room service, the doorbell rang. She was very surprised. Could the Intercontinental Hotel's room service be so fast? However, when she opened the door and saw a guy who was not a hotel staff at all, her face immediately changed. "Hello," Soo-yun said with a smile. Taoinan was not in the mood to talk to strangers. "What are you doing here?" "Miss Tao, right?" Soo-yun continued to smile innocently at Taoinan. Taoinan was stunned. It was just a simple reaction, but Soo-yun could tell that his guess was correct. This person was definitely from the Tao family. There was no doubt about it. Taoinan put away the shock on her face and said expressionlessly, "You're in the wrong place. There's no Miss Tao here." Taoinan was about to close the door when Soo-yun unceremoniously squeezed half of his body in. Taoinan was obviously very angry at the sudden intrusion of a stranger. She had never seen such a thick-skinned person. He actually completely ignored the other person's rejection and barged into someone else's room. "Miss Tao, I know it must be you." "Soo-yun. There's nothing to deny. I'm not a bad person. Isn't it good to sit down and make friends?" Taoinan took a deep breath. "I'm warning you. I don't know you. You better get out right now. I know Miss Tao definitely doesn't know me, but Miss Tao should know Jiang Zixue, right?" Soo-yun smiled and said, "If you're interested in Jiang Zixue, you'll definitely invite me to sit down and have a drink. I heard that Miss Tao just bought a bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite today. Wouldn't it be a pity if there wasn't a friend to share such a good wine?" Taoinan only felt a chill run down her back. This guy knew too many things, completely beyond her understanding. Clearly, this wasn't an unreasonable person who walked into the wrong room. He was a clear-headed and meticulous negotiator. "Miss Tao, I've said so much. If you still don't invite me in, I'm afraid you're really not treating your guests well," Soo-yun said. "Who are you?" Taoinan was definitely very interested in Soo-yun at this moment. Soo-yun smiled and didn't say anything. He waited for Taoinan's invitation. In the end, Taoinan had no other choice. She could only make an inviting gesture to Soo-yun. "Since you're already here, then come in and sit." "Then I'll respectfully accept." Soo-yun smiled and said, "Miss Tao is indeed Miss Tao. Generous and magnanimous." Taoinan wasn't interested in this stranger's flattery at all. She was interested in why he mentioned Jiang Zixue's name to her. Clearly, this was a situation with a purpose. Taoinan hoped that this person wanted to use Jiang Zixue's information to gain benefits from her. This wasn't a problem. As long as it was a cooperation, she could talk about it. However, Taoinan also felt a little uneasy. After all, this guy knew who she was and could even talk about Jiang Zixue. This meant that he had a certain understanding of the 7 big families. Who else could know the 7 big families like the back of their hand? At least, there couldn't be such a young person. Unless this young man was also entrusted by someone. Thinking of this, Taoinan felt that it was very possible. "Miss Tao, I know that you're very curious about who I am." "Soo-yun, don't worry, you'll definitely find out." Taoinan frowned and sat down. Su Yin unceremoniously took the bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite and played with it. This is good wine. Of course I know it's good wine. Tao Nan was a little unhappy. I don't want anyone to touch my things without my permission. I hope you can remember this very clearly. Miss Tao, please don't be like this. Su Yin. Perhaps you don't know, but I took out this bottle of wine for the charity auction. Tao Nan's eyes widened. This bottle of wine was taken out by Sky Entertainment Group. Then, this person was the boss of Sky Entertainment Group. You guessed right. I am the boss of Sky Entertainment Group. Su Yin could tell what Tao Nan was thinking from her expression. Miss Tao is a person who loves wine. I have a friend who has a lot of rare red wine in his wine cellar. I'm sure Miss Tao will like it. Tao Nan looked at Su Yin in confusion. What's your purpose in looking for me? What other identity do you have? Before Su Yin could answer, the hotel's room service came and interrupted their conversation. The Kobe steak that Tao Nan had arranged for was pushed into the room. The waiter asked if they needed to open the wine. Before Tao Nan could say anything, Su Yin nodded. Miss Tao ordered the steak to go with the wine. Of course we have to open it. Tao Nan originally wanted to taste this bottle of wine to ease her mood, so she didn't say anything. Chapter 26:10. Su Yun's way of not treating her as an outsider obviously made Tao Nan somewhat conflicted. After all, this was a red wine that she bought for 20 million yuan. As a stranger, Su Yun actually took 2 red wine glasses and poured 2 glasses of wine without any hesitation. Su Yun had thought before coming here that he absolutely couldn't let himself be an outsider. Since he had the opportunity to drink such good wine, of course he would drink a glass. This is probably worth about 1.5 million yuan. Miss Tao, you won't feel bad, right? Of course, Tao Nan felt bad. Who wouldn't feel bad when their favorite thing was shared with others? However, Su Yun just arrived here and said Jiang Zixue's name. Due to some aspects that needed to be communicated, Tao Nan had to let Su Yun be so unscrupulous. What Su Yun did next was even more unacceptable to Tao Nan. But in the face of this situation, Tao Nan still chose to endure. Because Su Yun actually picked up the knife and fork, cut the Kobe steak that the room service had sent in, and unceremoniously stuffed a piece into his mouth. And it's really good. The best quality beef is the best quality beef. The depression in Tao Nan's heart had accumulated very thick. Miss Tao, don't be polite. Let's eat together. I've eaten, so I'm just tasting. Su Yun put down the knife and fork, shook the red wine glass in his hand, took a sip gently and sighed. The taste is really different. You're almost done. Tao Nan said. Don't test my bottom line, because you've already gone too far. Su Yun. Miss Tao, it's not that bad, right? I just ate a bite of your beef. You're not angry, right? You eat yours. I don't like to share food with others. Tao Nan said angrily. She took a sip of the 1787 Chateau Lafite. Perhaps it was because of the other party that she lost the mood to taste good wine. Then it's boring to just drink. Su Yun. How about this? I'll order another serving for you. No need, Tao Nan said. I'm not in the mood to eat. Su Yun grinned and unceremoniously placed the steak in front of him. Then I won't stand on ceremony. Thank you for your hospitality, Miss Tao. In this way, Su Yun, an uninvited guest, started to eat and drink in front of Tao Nan. He drank her red wine that was worth millions and ate the top-grade steak that she had sent to the room for 1,899 yuan. Tao Nan tried her best to maintain a normal state of mind, so that her emotions could be controlled to a certain extent. Fortunately, this bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite could calm Tao Nan down a lot. Just like that, Tao Nan didn't say a word while Su Yun ate the meat. She just quietly tasted the red wine in her glass. She was thinking about what the other party's goal was. Finally, Su Yun finished the entire steak. Of course, good things couldn't be wasted. It was a matter of principle. Wasting was shameful. Su Yun was a child who grew up carrying a hoe day and afternoon. He knew how hard it was to sweat and soak the soil. Therefore, whether it was grain or meat on the plate, it was hard work. Can I have another glass? Su Yun said with a smile. Tao Yinan swore that she had never seen such a thick-skinned person. What else could she say? Of course she wouldn't care. However, Suyin wasn't the kind of person who would stop when someone ignored him. He picked up the red wine without hesitation. This time he didn't just pour a little bit of wine. He poured more than half of the wine in the large glass. Almost half a bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite was ruined by Suyin just like that. Tao Yinan finally couldn't take it anymore. If you can't give me a satisfactory explanation, I'll make you wish you were dead. A woman who loved red wine as much as her life watched the man sitting opposite her ruin half a bottle of wine that she had bought at all costs. Who could stand it? Her temper was a little too good. Miss Tao, don't make it sound so bad, Suyin said with a smile and took a sip of the red wine. This is Huaxia, and it's Qingdao. This is my territory, not your Tao family's territory. You better tell me what you want to say. It's about Jiang Zixue. Tao Yinan didn't want to waste another minute with Suyin. Suyin said, what I want to say is even a strong dragon can't suppress a snake in its old haunts. Do you understand? Snake in its old haunts. Haha. What a snake in its old haunts. Very well. Let's see if I can chop off your head, Tao Yinan said. If you think you have the ability, you can do it now. Suyin said, I'm right in front of you, but I'm worried that you won't be able to chop off my head. It wouldn't be good if I hurt the claws of a fierce dragon like you. Threatening. Tao Yinan stared at Suyin in shock. Suyin drank wine that was worth tens of millions of yuan. And he still dared to threaten her. Are you here to make a deal with me or not? Tao Yinan said while suppressing her anger. A deal? Suyin paused. What kind of deal? Tao Yinan couldn't hold back her anger. About the deal with Jiang Zixue. I know that Jiang Zixue is staying in Sky Entertainment's hotel, and she wants to be an artist of Sky Entertainment. It seems like Miss Tao knows a lot, Suyin said. And as long as you hand her over to me, I won't hold you accountable for everything that happened today. Tao Yinan said. And what's the price? You can give me a number. Suyin grinned. Miss Tao, are you slapping me in the face? Do I look like someone who lacks money? I'll give you a number. There's no one in this world who doesn't lack money, Tao Yinan said. I know you're the boss of Sky Entertainment, and you have money, but you wouldn't care about adding a little more to your wealth, right? I'm afraid my appetite will scare you, Miss Tao, Suyin said. I want everything in your Tao family. Do you dare to give it to me? Tao Yinan's face showed a hint of murderous intent. Your appetite is that big? I dare to give it to you, but I'm afraid you won't be able to eat it. Miss Tao, don't worry about that. As long as you dare to give it to me, there's nothing Suyin can't eat. Suyin laughed. Otherwise, what do you think I came here to talk about? Tao Yinan's expression was very ugly. I can see now that you didn't come here to talk business. Suyin said. Miss Tao, you have sharp eyes. Of course I didn't come here to talk business. A person who can be found by me without knowing anything is not worthy of talking business with me. Has anyone ever told you that you're really impudent? Tao Yinan said, so impudent that it makes people feel disgusted. Suyin shook his head. I'm sorry, maybe I'm too thick-skinned, so I didn't feel it at all. Then let me tell you, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth, Tao Yinan said. Tao Yinan said, don't tell me you really think your little Sky Entertainment group can be compared to the Tao family? Of course not, Suyin said. I've heard of how powerful the 7 great families are. Even the Empress, Zuolingyue, has to give them some face. What does my little Sky Entertainment group count for? In Tao Yinan's eyes, Suyin became more and more mysterious. Not only did he know about the 7 great families, but he also knew about Zuolingyue. It was obvious that he knew the underground world like the back of his hand. Who exactly are you? Tao Yinan asked. The more you don't know something, the more flustered you will be. Suyin said. Miss Tao, no matter what, you're still a member of the Tao family, one of the 7 great families. You're really embarrassing the Tao family by acting so flustered. Tao Yinan's chest heaved up and down continuously. She really couldn't stand Suyin anymore. Miss Tao, I know that you came to Huaxia and Qin Island for Jiang Zixue, Suyin said. As an unrelated person, I naturally don't want to meddle in other people's business. Since you know that you're unrelated, then don't try to catch a mouse. Tao Nan was angry. It's a pity. Although this matter has nothing to do with me, it has something to do with the Empress, Zuolingyue. Su Yin smiled. Then it's not easy to deal with. Tao Nan said coldly. Don't use the Empress to scare me. Let me tell you, even if the Empress personally stands in front of me, I, Tao Nan, will still do what I have to do. Su Yin gave her a thumbs up. Impressive. Miss Tao is indeed Miss Tao. You have courage. Chapter 26:11. Currently, no one in the underground world dared to say that they dared to challenge the Empress. Tao Nan was the first person Su Yin had met, and he believed that she was probably the only one. Of course, Tao Nan knew very well whether she would feel regret after saying this. Some things were just words, but words that were said on impulse couldn't be taken seriously. Everyone understood this point. Su Yin said this to Tao Nan largely as a form of sarcasm. This was because he knew very well that Tao Nan only dared to say it, but she wouldn't really do it. Let me tell you, the matter between the Tao family and the Jiang family isn't just a matter between the two families. It's also a matter between the Jiang family and the other 6 families. Tao Nan continued. The Jiang family is only a representative in this matter. Miss Tao, are you trying to explain to me? Su Yin asked. Or are you trying to explain to the Empress that this matter isn't solely related to the Tao family? Tao Nan felt very uncomfortable after being exposed by Su Yin. I don't have anything to explain. I'm just telling you the truth. Everyone knows the truth. Su Yin continued. There's no need for Miss Tao to explain further. Everyone was well aware of what had happened to the Jiang family. It was the doing of the 6 great clans. However, why is the Tao family so overbearing and ruthless? I'm afraid this has nothing to do with the other families, right? It has something to do with them. Of course it has something to do with them. Tao Nan wouldn't ignore the other families at this moment. Seeing how flustered Tao Nan was, Su Yin could basically conclude that they were apprehensive of the Empress. At this point, Su Yin was even more confused. Since they were so apprehensive of Zuolingyue, why didn't Zuolingyue bring Jiang Zixue along with her? Wouldn't Jiang Zixue be safer that way? Regardless of whether this matter has anything to do with the other 5 families, the Tao family is the one who did it. Su Yin continued. The Tao family will bear all the consequences. What do you mean? Tao Nan asked. Do you really think that I'm afraid of you? You can't represent the Empress. Don't think that you can scare me with her. Su Yin smiled. Do I need to do that? Using the Empress to scare you? Haha, Miss Tao, you're thinking too much. I'm not that kind of person, and I don't have the habit of using someone else's power to intimidate others. Then why are you wasting your breath on me? Tao Nan said. I'm not in the mood, nor am I interested. I think Miss Tao has quite a lot of refined interests. She even has time to go to the auction. After Su Yin finished speaking, he took another sip of red wine. Fortunately, this wine was bought by Miss Tao. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have the chance to taste it. Seeing Su Yin pour out so many of her treasures, Tao Nan's anger couldn't be quelled. I'm warning you, don't let me see the red wine in your glass again. It's such a waste for me to drink it all in one gulp. Su Yin said. Let's not rush. We can drink it slowly. Tao Nan felt like her lungs were about to explode from anger. Just treat it as making friends. Su Yin said. Miss Tao, don't be so hostile. I don't have any hostility when I come here. You know best whether or not you have any hostility, Tao Nan said. But I can also tell you bluntly that even if you have hostility, you can't do anything to me. You don't really think that I don't have anyone under me, right? I don't dare to think that easily. Su Yin smiled. But Miss Tao, you don't think that I'm alone, right? Tao Nan took a deep breath. She really couldn't take advantage of Su Yin. I don't know if Miss Tao is alone, but I'm afraid that some of your subordinates aren't on Qingdao, right? Su Yin said. A few days ago, I went out for a while. Because Jiang Zixue left her Ferrari with me and no one drove it, I borrowed it. As a result, someone followed me for a long time. Tao Nan was shocked. It was no wonder that Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi were taken to such a faraway place and played around with. It was because they met such a difficult opponent. If that's the case, are you determined to protect the Jiang family? Tao Yinan said. In that case, I'll tell you bluntly. Standing on the Jiang family's side is making an enemy of the Tao family. Su Yin nodded. And then? And then, of course, you will have the same ending as the Jiang family. I believe you should understand that the Jiang family won't be able to escape the purge of the 6 great families. It's impossible for you to resist, Tao Yinan said coldly. Su Yin smiled. Yes, it's really impossible for me to resist the purge of the 6 great families. However, Su Yin changed the topic and threatened her instead. But I also believe that the Tao family won't dare to offend the Empress because of this matter. What has already happened, I can't care so much anymore. Tao Yinan said. It's a pity that you don't even know where Jiang Zixue is now. Su Yin continued. And I just need to let the Empress know that the Tao family wants to exterminate the Jiang family. Then you won't have a good ending. Tao Yinan was stunned. Do you think that the Tao family will still be able to gain any advantage in this matter? Su Yin said. I believe that Miss Tao is a smart person and should know that there's no advantage at all. Tao Yinan didn't need to be smart. She just needed to not be a fool to understand the meaning of Su Yin's words. Indeed, the Tao family wouldn't be able to take advantage of this matter. The 6 great families would benefit from exterminating the Jiang family. When the time came, the Empress would only want to pursue the Tao family. The other 5 great families would benefit from this, and the Tao family might even be affected by this matter. Who didn't know that the Empress was against this matter? Facing difficulties head-on was definitely not a good idea. Miss Tao, some things aren't so easy to deal with. Su Yin continued. If I didn't guess wrongly, I'm afraid that you are already regretting why the Tao family took the lead, right? Of course, Tao Yinan regretted it. Su Yin continued to use psychological warfare to destroy Tao Yinan's psychological defense. Actually, the Tao family was prepared to let Miss Tao take charge of the situation alone. That way, even if something happened, Miss Tao could be pushed to the front. After all, Miss Tao isn't even afraid of the Empress. At that time, the men of the Tao family wouldn't suffer any losses. Are you done? Tao Yinan's chest was heaving up and down. Su Yin shrugged his shoulders and said, Almost. If you are done, then I hope that you can leave my room immediately, Tao Yinan said. I don't want to see you at all right now. But I haven't finished drinking my wine. Su Yin continued. If I remember correctly, Miss Tao said that you don't like to share things that others use. If there's still some wine left, you won't drink it either. Wouldn't that be too wasteful? I don't care, Tao Yinan said coldly. Su Yin immediately said, But I care. In that case, quickly finish your wine and get out of my room. Tao Yinan ordered him to leave. It seems that Miss Tao roughly understands what I mean, Su Yin said. I don't mind telling you that no one can touch the person that I want to protect. Shameless boasting. If the Tao family wants to give it a try, then I will respectfully welcome it. Su Yin threw down his last sentence, picked up the glass of 1787 Chateau Lafite, and drank it in one gulp. He slammed the glass of red wine down and left Tao Yinan's room. A few minutes after Su Yin left, Tao Yinan's emotions couldn't be calmed down. She repeatedly told herself to control herself. Only then could she barely suppress her anger that was about to explode. Tao Yinan only had one feeling now, and that was hatred. She hated Su Yin, hated Jiang Zixue, hated her clansmen, and hated herself. Chapter 26:12. Of course, there was a purpose for Su Yin to warn Tao Yinan today. In the face of a strong opponent whom he knew nothing about, Su Yin would not be so stupid to act rashly. Moreover, his current opponent was not only the Tao family, but also the other 5 great families. If this matter could incite internal strife within the 6 great families, then Su Yin wouldn't need to waste too much energy and time on this matter. The best way to deal with the enemy within the enemy's group was probably to see how Tao Yinan wanted to deal with this matter. If Tao Yinan could think clearly about the stakes and was a smart person, she would not throw herself into the limelight. Even if the matter about the Jiang family was exposed, Zhuolengyue had already been alerted. This was probably something that no one in the 6 families had thought of. And it could also fully test whether the relationship between the 6 families was real or fake. After Su Yan left, Tao Yinan kept asking herself over and over again, why did she want to exterminate the Jiang family so ruthlessly? Of course, it was to maximize the benefits of the Tao family. If it were not for the benefits of the Tao family, she would be crazy to come all the way to Huaxia to deal with this tricky matter. This was not only a matter of taking risks, but also a matter of losing more than gain. Not only could she not bring benefits to the Tao family, but she would also get into trouble. Then it would really be a meaningless trip. Tao Yinan was very clear that the person who came just now was advising her to tuck her tail between her legs and get out of Huaxia. If she were to accept this advice, it would be a perfect thing for all of them. But how could Tao Yinan explain it to her family? She had no chance to explain at all, because the people in her family would not believe her. No matter what, Zhuolengyue had not stood out to express her attitude publicly. Therefore, no one would ask to give up the action of exterminating the Jiang family because of this. However, the current situation was just as Su Yan had said. All the spearheads were focused on her. The Tao family was the instigator of this matter. And once she offended Zhuolengyue, the Tao family was very likely to push her out. In the eyes of many people, the life of a big clan was so beautiful, but no one knew what the internal struggles of a big clan were like. Even brothers and sisters in an ordinary family would fight over the inheritance left behind by their parents. What about the big clans? The things that they would be fighting over would not be small. As long as they fought for a little bit more, they would be rich enough to rival a country. Who could resist such a temptation? Obviously, no one could resist this temptation. Tao Yinan was like this, and so were her brothers and sisters. Tao Yinan had always been outstanding in the Tao family since she was young. Unfortunately, she was a girl, so her elder brother and 2 younger brothers didn't treat her well. The only reason was that she was too outstanding and could handle some things better than them. This meant that the family valued her highly. Tao Yinan's position in the Tao family was obviously higher than her elder sister and younger sister. Among the 6 members of the Tao family, Tao Yinan was the most capable. Even the eldest son of the Tao family, who was also Tao Yinan's elder brother, Tao Zhu, was inferior to her in all aspects. Even though Tao Zhu didn't express some things, everyone knew the resentment in Tao Zhu's heart. This was because Tao Zhu was already very outstanding in all aspects, and his outstanding personal ability had also established his own capital in front of the previous generation. If it wasn't for Tao Yinan, he would probably be more outstanding in the eyes of his father's generation. In that case, he would be able to obtain more authority. However, Tao Yinan's excellence caused him to miss out on more than half of the delicious soup. It was impossible to say that Tao Zhu wasn't sick of Tao Yinan. It was precisely because Tao Zhu was sick of Tao Yinan that he planned this matter, and let Tao Yinan do what she was doing now. Even if it was successful, and Tao Yinan received praise from her father's generation, she still wouldn't be able to escape the wrath of the Empress. Tao Zhu was very clear that once the Empress and the Tao family fell out, his father would rather sacrifice Tao Yinan than go against the Empress. Everyone was well aware of how high the Empress's prestige was. When the time came, it was absolutely impossible for the other 5 great clans to stand by the Tao family's side. They would most likely face it with the mentality of watching a show. If the Empress abolished the Tao family, the other 5 great clans would be the ultimate beneficiaries, who would go against the interests of the other 5 great clans. Obviously, absolutely no one would go against the interests of the other 5 great clans. When the time came, Tao Yinan would inevitably become the sacrificial lamb of the Tao family for the sake of the overall situation. This was a huge game of chess that Tao Zhu had set up. Smart people would definitely understand the meaning behind all this. Tao Yinan wasn't a fool and naturally saw through it. Unfortunately, seeing through it didn't mean that she could reject it. If she rejected the family's appointment, her status in the family would definitely plummet. Even if she had to brace herself, Tao Yinan had to shoulder this matter. Not only did she have to shoulder it, but she also had to do it perfectly. As long as this matter was done beautifully, her status in the entire family would rise to a new level. What did this mean? It meant that even Tao Zhu wouldn't be able to raise his head in front of her. Tao Yinan had really thought through this matter carefully. The reason why she was so cautious and careful was because she wanted to avoid everyone's attention and handle this matter quietly. As long as the Empress couldn't produce concrete evidence to prove that the Tao family did it, she didn't have to worry about being used as a sacrificial lamb by the Tao family. The difficulty of this matter was obviously huge, but Tao Yinan had to accept this challenge. If she won, she would win everything. If she lost, she would lose everything. To Tao Yinan, this was definitely a huge gamble. Before Su Yin came, she still had a chance of winning. She was still certain that what she did was flawless and no one would know. However, after Su Yin came and the two of them exchanged a few simple words, Tao Yinan knew that she had no trump cards left. In this huge gamble, all the trump cards in her hands had been seen by the other party. What chance did she have of winning? Once all her cards were revealed, Tao Yinan would most likely lose miserably. It wasn't that she didn't dare to lose, but that she really couldn't afford to lose this huge gamble. Faced with such a desperate situation, Tao Yinan wouldn't foolishly walk into the dark. She wasn't a fool, and she knew very well that she had to save herself now. When a person was faced with a desperate situation, no one would extend a helping hand. In order to get out of this situation, other than saving herself, Tao Yinan had no other way. At this moment, she wasn't even in the mood to taste the red wine. Faced with the 1787 Chateau Lafite that she had always dreamed of, Tao Yinan actually took it directly, put the wine bottle to her mouth, and raised her head without hesitation. The remaining half of the bottle of red wine was poured down Tao Yinan's throat without any careful tasting or smelling. Compared to Su Yun's drinking method just now, this was probably a real reckless waste of God's gift. Tao Yinan finished half of the bottle of red wine, but her heart still couldn't calm down. What should she do? Tao Yinan, who was in a dilemma, didn't know what to do at this moment. On this big chessboard, whoever could save themselves would be able to protect everything. The damn family infighting. The most disgusting thing for Tao Yinan was happening in front of her again, but what could she do? What else could she do except to meet and face these challenges one after another? Who told her to be born in the Tao family? In such a big family, how could there be no infighting? How could there be no disputes? If she had the chance to choose in her next life, Tao Yinan would definitely choose to reincarnate in an ordinary family without hesitation. She really had enough of this kind of dispute, really. Chapter 26:13. When Su Yun came out, the others were very surprised. They felt that it was a little too fast. "Brother, isn't this a little too fast?" Lin Ge said. "It's done? You've confirmed the young woman's identity? It's done?" "Yeah, how did you come out so quickly?" Jin Hong was also puzzled. He was very sure that the woman was Tao Yinan, which was why he was surprised that Su Yun came out so quickly. "If you don't come out early, are you going to spend the night in her room?" Su Yun said. "I'm not interested in this kind of young woman." Lin Ge chuckled. "You don't say, she looks very young." Jin Hong said that she's 36 years old, but I can't believe it. No matter how I look at her, she looks 26 years old. She's quite interesting. I like this kind of person. Jin Hong laughed dryly. To be honest, he also felt that Tao Yinan was still the same as 10 years ago. There were no traces of age at all. Women really needed to take care of themselves. "You came out so quickly. It must have been very smooth." Jie returned to the topic. Su Yun nodded. "It was quite smooth. At least she didn't close the door on me. She even treated me to steak and red wine. That bottle of 1787 Chateau Lafite." Jin Hong's eyes widened. How was that possible? Su Yun didn't look like he was joking at all. An expert was an expert. He could settle anything. Su Yun shrugged. "Of course. I really don't have the mood to taste other wines. But then again, no matter how good the wine is, it's just so. It's not very interesting. Brother, you're obviously showing off to the three of us. We don't even have any saliva here," Lin Ge said. No matter what, Tao Yinan's identity is confirmed. She is indeed looking for trouble with Jiang Zixue. Su Yun. But so far, I should have calmed her down. At least now she has some scruples in her heart. Jin Hong was struggling mentally. His enemy was here, but he couldn't act rashly. Jin Hong was even clearer than Su Yun about the strength of the Tao family and the 6 great clans, so he knew that Su Yun's actions were rational. It's obviously very difficult to do some things now, Su Yun said. But there's no other way. Some things have to be resolved. What should we do to resolve this? Jin Hong asked. Su Yun shook his head. When Tao Yinan still has some scruples, she will definitely make some changes. I can see that she doesn't want to be the first one to stand out. So she'll stop. No, I'm afraid they won't stop. Since the 6 great clans have already decided, someone will definitely complete this matter, Su Yun said. But Tao Yinan doesn't want to become the target. Jin Hong frowned. You mean to say that she will shift the blame to someone else? I'm afraid it'll be difficult for her to shirk the responsibility, but she'll definitely find someone else to share the burden. Su Yun said. My appearance made it clear to her that her whereabouts have been exposed, so she definitely won't be able to shirk the responsibility. She can only make it bigger. Won't that be even more disadvantageous for us? Jie said. We're already very cautious about dealing with the Tao family. There's nothing to be cautious about. Su Yun said. If we really want to deal with the Tao family, I really don't care. Even if I make it clear that I want to go against the Tao family, what can they do to me? Su Yun still had this bit of arrogance. If Su Yun went to the Russian Empire, it was possible that he would have some scruples. But in Huaxia, Su Yun really didn't have so many scruples. Then what do you mean? Jin Hong was very curious. If we deal with the Tao family now, the 6 great clans will band together. Su Yun said. You've all heard the story of chopsticks. A chopstick is easy to break, but a pair of chopsticks isn't so easy to break. The 3 of them looked at Su Yun thoughtfully. In Su Yun's eyes, the 6 great clans were like a pair of chopsticks. Indeed, it wasn't easy to break them. But if they broke them one by one, Su Yun really wouldn't care too much. At most, he would just fight. I understand, brother. What you mean is that you want the 6 great clans to have internal conflicts first, Lin Ge said. When the chopsticks are scattered, breaking them one by one will be much easier. Su Yun nodded. That's right. If I touch the Tao family, the 6 great clans will definitely band together. What if I don't touch the Tao family? Tao Yinan will do something to protect herself, Jin Hong said. That's right. In order to protect herself, Tao Yinan will drag the other great clans down with her. At that time, they will all have some scruples, and there will be a situation where they don't get along, Su Yun said. Then, we'll strike at that time and break them one by one, Lin Ge said. That's definitely a good idea. Su Yun smiled faintly. Not allowing the 6 great clans to band together is our best option right now. Now, I finally understand why Little Mother chose to disappear in this matter. It's because she was very clear that if she stood out and made a decision, it would definitely cause the 6 great clans to unite. That would be very difficult for her. The more this was the case, the more each of the 6 great clans had their own ulterior motives. Everyone was thinking about their own interests, so they wouldn't think things through so thoroughly. This was obviously very normal. If the 6 great clans didn't think about their own interests, then there wouldn't have been a situation where they attacked the Jiang family together. Can you confirm that the 6 great clans don't get along on the surface? Jiesu asked. Su Yun smiled. If they really do get along on the surface, then the Tao family won't be the only one doing things at a time like this. Jin Hong nodded as well. Now, I'm afraid everyone is thinking about how to divide up the Jiang family's resources. This is what they need the most. I believe that Tao Yinan isn't a fool. She'll definitely understand. Su Yun said. Her disruption will cause the 6 great clans to fall into complete chaos. Although we can't guarantee that we'll just sit back and reap the benefits, we can at least guarantee that no one will dare to touch Jiang Zixue so easily. This was the most basic requirement of the entire situation. Jiang Zixue's safety was Su Yun's priority. Under the circumstances of Jiang Zixue's safety, Su Yun didn't want to do anything else. If he wanted to help the Jiang family regroup, it was probably not something he could do alone. Unless Jin Hong could think things through, find his identity again, and let Jiang Zixue know the truth about his identity. Only under such circumstances would the Jiang family have the possibility of making a comeback. If Jin Hong didn't want to ask too much about the Jiang family's matters, and didn't want to find his identity as a member of the Jiang family, it was almost impossible for the Jiang family to make a comeback with just Jiang Zixue's strength. Sometimes, the men in the family were still very important. This was also why when it came to offending the empress, the Tao family would rather choose the capable Tao Yinan than let the men of the Tao family step in. Jin Hong didn't think too much about the future. Since he didn't want to talk about it, Su Yun naturally wouldn't ask too much. Everything had to be done according to his own heart. Only then would he not regret the decision he made. Jin Hong, don't worry, I will definitely guarantee Jiang Zixue's safety, Su Yun said. As long as I, Su Yun, am around, the Tao family won't be able to touch her. Jin Hong nodded. I want to stay here and keep an eye on Tao Yinan. I don't know what she will do, and I don't have any confidence at all. Of course, even if you didn't make this request, I would still arrange for you to stay here. Su Yun said. You more or less have some impression of the people from the 6 great families. If she meets anyone here, I believe you will definitely be able to recognize them. Jin Hong nodded. Although my impression of them is a little vague, I might still have an impression if I meet them. Then I will leave this place to you. Su Yun said. Tao Yinan will definitely use all sorts of reasons to find Huaxia for the people from the other great families. Don't worry, she won't let you down. Jin Hong nodded. In his eyes, the 6 great families were already his enemies. It was impossible for him to have any sympathy for his enemies. Jiesu asked, Do you need me here? Yes. Su Yun nodded. In that case, you will stay here and help him. Jiesu nodded. Jiang Zixue is staying at my place now. You can totally rest assured. Su Yun said, Pigeon and I will definitely guarantee her safety. If Tao Yinan doesn't act according to common sense, I will also make extra preparations. I will really have to trouble you. Jin Hong was very grateful. Chapter 26:14. Tao Yinan didn't sleep well that night. She hadn't had insomnia for a long time, because insomnia would make a woman look bad. She didn't want to have insomnia, but there were some things that couldn't be controlled. Even though she drank a lot, her mind was still very clear, because she knew that this was her capital. When the sun shone through the thick curtains the next day, Tao Yinan realized that she hadn't slept for almost the whole night. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi didn't sleep at all. They rushed back to Qingdao without stopping, ready to accept Miss Tao's punishment. The first thing they did when they got back to the hotel was to go to Tao Yinan's room. At this moment, they were standing at the door of Tao Yinan's room. They didn't dare to disturb her because they didn't hear any sound from the room. They had already reflected deeply on the serious mistakes they had made. However, they could never understand why the car that had followed them out of the hotel would appear in Qingdao again. They stood at Tao Yinan's door, quietly waiting for some sound from the room, at least to let them know that Tao Yinan had woken up. After Tao Yinan got up, she went straight to the bathroom to take off her pajamas. She needed a cold shower to wake herself up. Everything that should have happened yesterday had already happened. Since the situation couldn't be changed, she had to change the trend of things. She needed to put herself in a safe position. After taking a shower, Tao Yinan called room service again. She didn't want to go out for the whole day. After she called, Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi dared to knock on the door. They vaguely heard the sound from inside, and were sure that Tao Yinan had woken up. Tao Yinan was very conflicted when she heard the knock on the door. Yesterday, right after she had ordered the steak, Su Yun appeared and threatened her. Now that the knocking on the door was heard again, how could she not feel disgusted? Tao Yinan opened the door and saw the two of them. The serious expression on her face relaxed a little. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi lowered their heads, not daring to look at Tao Yinan's eyes. Come in, Tao Yinan said faintly, then turned around. After yesterday's incident, her resentment towards the two of them had basically disappeared. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi cautiously walked into Tao Yinan's guest room. Tao Tianyi gently closed the door. After that, he and Tao Ruhu walked behind Tao Inan and carefully knelt down. They didn't know what they should do to get Miss Tao's forgiveness. When Tao Inan heard the sound, she turned her head and saw that the two of them had already knelt down. There was no resentment in her heart. "All right, get up." When the two of them heard this, they couldn't believe their ears. They were simply overwhelmed by the favor. "Have you two eaten yet?" Tao Inan asked. The two of them shook their heads. Tao Ruhu said, "We've been waiting at the door ever since we came back. We didn't hear any sounds from the room just now, so we thought you hadn't woken up yet, so you must be hungry." Tao Inan said faintly, "I just ordered something to eat. I'll order some more for you." Tao Inan didn't ask if the two of them wanted to eat. She called the room service again. "I just ordered some food. A friend came, so I want more. 2 more servings of shark fin soup, sea cucumber rice, cloud sea urchin soup, pizza, and sandwich. Remember, 2 servings each." After Tao Inan finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi instantly felt like they had entered a trap. They were really afraid that this was Miss Tao's last breakfast for them. "Miss Tao, we know we were wrong. This is our mistake, but we really didn't expect this to happen," Tao Tianyi said. "We've been following Jiang Zixue's Ferrari, but her car was too fast. We couldn't keep up at all. So when we reached Yanjing, we lost her. We've been trying very hard to find her in Yanjing." Tao Inan only nodded. She didn't have any intention of blaming them. However, the more Tao Inan was like this, the more uneasy Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi felt. They were really afraid. Tao Inan's calmness made them worry that something even more terrifying would happen. "Miss Tao, please give us another chance. We really did our best," Tao Ruhu also explained. "I didn't say anything." Tao Inan said, "I know you did your best. I also know that you were just tricked. You don't have to be so scared in front of me. I was angry yesterday because I didn't know what happened. Now that I know, I won't blame you." The two were stunned. They didn't know what Tao Inan was saying that she knew. "I know very well now. You two did your best," Tao Inan said. "So I can give you enough affirmation. I even ordered food for you. Everyone can have a meal together. There's nothing to be afraid of." "Miss Tao, you said you knew. What do you mean?" Tao Ruhu said, "I've already seen the person who tricked you." Tao Inan said, "He's a very shrewd person. He's also very meticulous and has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So it's not strange that you were tricked. He was the one who drove you to Yanjing." The two of them sucked in a breath of cold air. Someone actually found Tao Inan when the two of them were leaving. After Tao Inan came to Qingdao, she rarely left the hotel because she didn't want to expose her identity. Now Tao Inan's identity was exposed? Wouldn't that be throwing the Tao family onto a platform in the open? If Tao Inan's identity was exposed, it would definitely be a very dangerous thing for the two of them. "Don't look at me like that. I also know that we're in a very dangerous situation now," Tao Inan said. "I also don't wish for us to encounter any trouble. But since it has already happened, we have no other choice. If we want to protect ourselves, we have to keep a clear head." Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi looked at each other. "Miss Tao, who is the other party? Is he the Empress's man?" "I'm not sure about this, but he's definitely related to the Empress," Tao Inan said. "So we can't continue to do stupid things." The two of them suddenly understood. No wonder Miss Tao had suddenly changed. It was because she had already made her decision. Most importantly, this decision was beneficial to them. They didn't need to continue to be the first ones to stick their heads out. When the Empress's scope was already aimed at them, if they still stuck their heads out, it would simply be too stupid. Tao Inan took a deep breath. "I need the two of you to help me. Of course, this is also to help yourselves. Only by trusting each other can we get through this difficult time together. Miss Tao, we will definitely do whatever you want us to do." Tao Ruhu said, "Our lives are yours, so we'll leave it to you to arrange. I can't give you any guarantees." Tao Inan said, "Because I don't have any guarantees myself. We can only do our best to fight for it and drag the other 5 families into this muddy water. Only then can we no longer be the focus." Tao Tianyi nervously asked, "Then what should we do?" Use your brains and think of a solution with me. Tao Yinan said. Don't ask me about everything because I'm also having a headache now. The room service arrived. Tao Yinan let herself relax and heaved a sigh of relief. Let's eat first. After eating, we will discuss how to solve this problem. I believe that the two of you won't let me down. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi were now forced into a desperate situation. Who could say for sure what was going on now? I believe in the two of you, but you have to believe in me too. Tao Yinan said. We will be fine. Chapter 26:15. Tao Ruhu and Tao Tianyi had no other choice but to listen to Tao Yinan's arrangements. They were betting everything on Tao Yinan. As long as Tao Yinan could successfully avoid this calamity, they would follow her to glory and riches. If Tao Yinan couldn't survive, they would become cannon fodder. Miss Tao, do you need me to help you investigate the other party? Tao Ruhu said. He dared to come to us. We can't just ignore him like this, right? Tao Yinan lowered her head and said, I think it's best if you don't act rashly. The other party isn't someone to be trifled with. But we're not to be trifled with either, Tao Tianyi said. If the Tao family tolerates this, I'm afraid the other party will take advantage of us and become even more unscrupulous. Tao Yinan had also considered this problem, but Su Yun's words about how a powerful dragon could not suppress a snake in its old haunts kept ringing in her ears. Miss Tao, sometimes we have to respond. Otherwise, the other party really won't take our Tao family seriously, Tao Ruhu said. At the very least, we can't let him look down on us and think that there's no one in our Tao family. Then what do you want to do? Tao Yinan asked. Of course we're going to show him who's boss, Tao Ruhu said. Tao Tianyi said. They were the ones who provoked us first, so we must return the favor. Tonight, the two of us will sneak over. Tao Yinan glanced at Tao Tianyi. Right now, I only know that the other party is Su Yin from Sky Entertainment Group. I don't know anything else. As the saying goes, only by knowing yourself and your enemy can you win 100 battles. Tao Yinan was very clear about this simple principle, but they didn't know anything about Su Yin and had no confidence. We don't even know who's behind him, Tao Yinan said. She didn't think it was appropriate to act rashly like this. Miss Tao, if we don't take the initiative to investigate this matter, then we'll never be able to figure out how many things we don't know, Tao Ruhu said. The other party won't take the initiative to tell us about his situation. That being said, there was still a risk. What Tao Yinan was worried about was that if something happened to the two of them on Guqin Island, she would be all alone and helpless. What's the situation? We'll try our best to arrange for people to find out. You guys shouldn't take the risk, Tao Yinan said. After all, we don't have the chance to rashly make mistakes now. The two of them roughly understood the real reason behind Tao Yinan's worries, so they didn't force it. I need you to help me contact Uncle Da of the 7-Star Radiance Council. We need him to help us contact the people in charge of the other families in Huaxia. Tao Yinan said, if we want to protect ourselves, we have to drag the other families down with us. Tao Ruhu nodded. Then I'll go to Xinjiang to look for Uncle Da immediately. Yes, we have to force him to do it face to face. Otherwise, he will definitely find a reason to refuse. Tao Yinan said. This old fox knows this very well. Tao Ruhu didn't plan to sleep anymore. This matter had to be settled. Tao Ruhu said to Tao Tianyi, stay behind and protect Miss Tao. Leave those matters to me. Tao Tianyi nodded. Then be careful on the road. He had been driving for the second half of the journey back from Yanjing. Tao Ruhu had more or less gotten some time to rest. It was indeed more appropriate for him to be on the road now. There was no time to lose. Tao Ruhu didn't have time to waste. After he was on the road, Tao Yinan said to Tao Tianyi, right now, you have to completely stop tracking and investigating Jiang Zixue. Find a way to find those people who helped you in this matter, and send them away. Understood. Tao Tianyi said. I don't want these people to appear in front of me again. Tao Yinan said. Tao Tianyi narrowed his eyes. Then I'll just directly. No. Tao Yinan said. Right now, what we need to do on Qingdao is to keep a low profile. We can't cause too much of a commotion. If we get into trouble because of this, then the gains won't make up for the losses. I understand, Tao Tianyi said. I won't cause too much of a commotion, and I won't let those people appear in front of you again. Tao Yinan nodded. Everything will wait until the people from the other families meet up before we make new arrangements. If there's a need, we can even directly invite Su Yin over. Looking at Tao Yinan's expression, it seemed like she already had her own ideas. Tao Tianyi was very pleased with this. After Tao Ruhu left Tao Yinan's room, he was targeted by Jiesu. Because this guy left in a hurry, Jiesu didn't have time to report to Su Yin. It was only when Jiesu drove the guy onto the highway and drove directly in the direction of Xinjiang that he realized this guy was going on a long trip. He had no choice but to quickly inform Su Yin of this news. Su Yin wasn't too surprised when he received Jiesu's notice. Now that Tao Yinan was arranging for someone to call for reinforcements, she would definitely make a big move. Is there any place where the 7 great families gather in Xinjiang? Su Yin hung up the phone and quickly rushed over to meet Jin Hong. Jin Hong thought for a moment. If it's Xinjiang, then it can only be the 7 big families' board of directors. Every year, the 7 big families will meet in Xinjiang for a meeting, and the board of directors is the intermediary between the 7 big families. Intermediary. Su Yin didn't understand. The 7 big families seem to have close ties with each other, but that's not the case, Jin Hong said. The 7 big families don't usually have much contact with each other. If there's anything urgent that needs to be contacted, they will go to the board of directors and ask the intermediary, Uncle Da, to help them inform them of the time and place of the meeting. Su Yin nodded and understood. It seems like Tao Yinan is moving faster than I thought. You mean she's already prepared to seek help from the other families? Jin Hong was stunned. Then won't we be in trouble? That's the result we want. Su Yin. It seems like danger is everywhere, but it's actually much safer. The more families are involved in this matter, the safer Jiang Zixue will be. Jin Hong still looked worried, and she really couldn't help but worry about him. Don't worry. Everyone wants someone else to take the blame. So the more people there are, the less likely it is that someone will step forward to do it. Su Yin said. There will also be more suspicion between each other. Jin Hong nodded. I hope so. You really have to be careful these few days. Su Yin. You must not let Tao Yinan know of your existence. Otherwise she might change her mind. Jin Hong nodded. Don't worry, I'll take care of myself. I believe you have the ability and strength. Su Yin. Maybe Tao Yinan's people will investigate me today. You don't have to worry about this. I'm prepared. Jin Hong knew that Su Yin had already planned a strategy, so he let go of the worry in his heart. Don't worry, I'm here. Su Yin promised Jin Hong. I'll make the whole thing more interesting. Now, Su Yin had gradually cleared the clouds and saw the sun. He had begun to see the development of the whole thing clearly. Now, what Su Yin needed was time to play this big game of chess. Whether it was the people of the Tao family or the other 5 families, they were all chess pieces in Su Yin's eyes. If Su Yin could play this game beautifully, he might really be able to destroy the 6 families without any effort. Although the Jiang family didn't have a close relationship with Su Yin, Zhuolengyue said that he owed the Jiang family a favor. He, Jin Hong, and Jiang Zixue were also friends. So whether it was out of kindness or friendship, he had to help the Jiang family teach these ungrateful guys a lesson. Chapter 26:16. The founder of the 7-Star Radiance was the Jiang family. Back then, the Jiang family had gathered the other 6 largest families in Huaxia. They were all big families in the world trade. Their goal was very simple, which was to monopolize the entire world trade business. The Jiang family had done it. Because they controlled the largest amount of resources, they had the highest authority among the 7 families. This authority did not make the Jiang family arrogant. Instead, the Jiang family used their own advantages to expand the 7-Star Radiance, which stabilized their own position. Many things were fought for by themselves. Everything the Jiang family had was fought for by themselves. That was why they were envied by the other families, especially the Tao family. The 7-Star Radiance's board of directors was established when the 7-Star Radiance was established. The chairman of the board of directors was alternated between the Jiang family and the Tao family. The reason was simple. These two families were the largest and most powerful. That was why they had the qualifications to be the chairman of the board of directors. However, due to some conflicts, the 7-star radiance changed. The Jiang family and the Tao family could no longer be the chairman of the board of directors. Instead, it was given to the weakest of the 7 families, the Zhou family, to arrange people. This could balance the relationships between all the families and alleviate the pressure on many sides. From then on, the board of directors was given to the Zhou family to manage. Even now, the Zhou family still arranged people to manage the board of directors. Although the Zhou family was now standing behind the other families, this was something that could not be helped. Even the Jiang family could not withstand the siege. The Zhou family, the weakest family, obviously did not dare to be rash. However, the people the Zhou family arranged in the board of directors were still fair. After a long time, the Zhou family understood that they had to rely on the Tao family to gain a stable foothold. It was not difficult for the Tao family to find Zhou Da of the board of directors to arrange some simple things. Tao Yinan believed that Uncle Da of the board of directors would definitely give her face. After all, Tao Ruhu was Tao Yinan's subordinate. The Zhou family was very clear about this, and so was Zhou Da. Therefore, Tao Yinan used this point. The Zhou family would not reject the Tao family's request. Tao Ruhu rushed to Shenzhen as fast as he could and found the board of directors of the 7 families with ease. Zhou Da, as usual, was handling some miscellaneous matters in the board of directors. Due to the recent purge of the Jiang family by the 6 great clans, there was almost nothing left to do in the council. Zhou Da was also happy to be idle. After all, he was a man in his 50s. The yellow soil had already reached his chest, and he didn't have much to pursue in life. Right now, Zhou Da's only pursuit was to live out his later years in peace. No matter what kind of trouble the 7-star radiance would cause, as long as it didn't affect him, then everything would be fine. When Tao Ruhu appeared in front of Zhou Da's heart was very conflicted. Everyone in the 7 great clans knew that these 2 experts were Tao Yinan's right-hand men. And Tao Yinan was definitely not someone easy to deal with. Everyone in the Zhou family knew what kind of person Tao Yinan was. It could even be said that no man in the Tao family could be compared to her. She was such a worrisome woman. So when Tao Ruhu came in front of Zhou Da was very conflicted. But even though he was conflicted, he couldn't express it on his face. Uncle Da, it seems like you've been quite free recently. Tao Ruhu was still polite to Zhou Da. Did I disturb you by coming here at this time? How could that be? Of course not. Zhou Da smiled. Why do you have time to come here? I don't visit a temple without a reason, Tao Ruhu said. Zhou Da knew this was for sure. Come, I'll make you a cup of tea. The 2 of us can sit down and talk slowly. If there's anything you need me to do, I'll do my best. This matter can only be solved by Uncle Da. Tao Ruhu didn't stand on ceremony with him. After Zhou Da made tea and the 2 of them sat down, Tao Ruhu directly explained his purpose for coming. You've heard about the Jiang family's matter. Now there are still some small matters that need to be dealt with, Tao Ruhu said. And this matter has been decided by drawing lots, and it still falls on the Tao family. Zhou Da smiled. Of course, I've heard about this. What do you think about this matter? Tao Ruhu asked. I feel that this is the best thing to do. After all, the Tao family is the most powerful among all of our families. We will be more at ease if we leave the aftermath to the Tao family. Zhou Da said. That's what everyone is thinking. Tao Ruhu said. But our Tao family doesn't think so. When it comes to splitting the benefits, everyone is fighting to get it. But no one is willing to clean up the mess. It's the Tao family that has to do it. Zhou Da was stunned. He didn't know what Tao Ruhu was trying to say. This matter is more or less unfair, Tao Ruhu said. Tao Ruhu said, at the very least, I feel that the Tao family's contribution is much greater than the other families. Zhou Da laughed dryly. Capable people do more work. Uncle Da, it's true that capable people do more work. But it's also true that capable people do more work. Tao Ruhu said. But when everyone was sharing the spoils, the Tao family didn't get an extra share. Everyone got an equal share. Zhou Da didn't say anything. He didn't know what the exact situation was, but it should be true. If the Tao family wanted to get an extra share of the spoils, they would definitely be opposed by the other 5 families. He would definitely be the first to know about this conflict. After all, his job as a council member was to deal with such matters. Uncle Da, I don't know what you think, but regarding this matter, I just want to say that it's unfair, Tao Ruhu said. Zhou De laughed dryly. Yes, it's indeed a little unfair. But there's nothing we can do about it. After all, the Tao family's strength is in front of us. This is the Tao family's ability. It's true that the Tao family is capable, but our Miss Tao has encountered some trouble on Guqin Island. We need someone to step forward and help us, Tao Ruhu said. Uncle Da, I really need your help with this matter. Zhou De was stunned. He had heard about the Tao family's mission to eliminate the root of the problem. Because this matter could offend Empress Zuolingyue. It was still a hot topic among the 6 great families. No one was willing to get involved in this matter. Everyone hoped that they could completely extricate themselves from this threat. Zhou Da's expression was somewhat awkward. If even the Tao family can't resolve this matter, it's even more impossible for the other families to do anything. Why is it impossible? Tao Ruhu said. Actually, at times, it depends on everyone's strength. Zhou De was somewhat helpless. I know what you mean. You want me to help you gather people, but no one will be willing to do this. Uncle Da, if I really only wanted you to convey this message, I wouldn't have wasted so much effort to come here, Tao Ruhu said. I know that no one will want to get involved in this matter. That's why I came to you. Zhou Da's expression was somewhat ugly. He already had a rough idea of Tao Ruhu's true intentions. Faced with such a situation, Zhou De really didn't know what to do. He didn't dare to make such a decision, but the Tao family was standing in front of him. He also didn't dare to offend them. Therefore, this was the most uncomfortable point. Uncle Da, I know that you have a way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to you. Tao Ruhu smiled. Our Miss Tao said that other than Uncle Da, there's no one else more suitable for this matter. This was a straightforward coercion. Zhou De looked awkwardly at Tao Ruhu and sank into silence. Chapter 26:17. Tao Ruhu's gaze never left Zhou De. If he didn't get an answer, he definitely wouldn't give up. Uncle Da, you should think about it carefully. The highest position you've reached in the Zhou family for so many years is the chairman of the board. That was with the support of the Tao family. Tao Ruhu smiled. If the Tao family didn't support you and give you the chance to sit in this position, anyone would be able to replace you. Don't you think so? I know the Tao family has treated me well. Zhou De laughed dryly. However, there were some things he really didn't know how to start. If he agreed, wouldn't he be betraying the Zhou family? Tao Ruhu said. The Tao family can raise you as high as they can make you fall. This is a very simple matter. Zhou De was already prepared for the threat. This was the Tao family's way of doing things, especially Tao Yinan's way of doing things. Her lackeys really relied on their masters. Zhou De didn't want to offend the Tao family, but he couldn't be a sinner. His silence quickly wore down Tao Ruhu's patience. Miss Tao told me to tell me when I came that Uncle Da would definitely give her face, Tao Ruhu said. Now, it seems like Miss Tao was overthinking. Zhou De hurriedly said. Please don't misunderstand. Of course, I can't ignore Miss Tao's face. I do respect Miss Tao a lot. Miss Tao definitely knows this. Tao Ruhu snorted. This is called respect. I really can't tell. Zhou De shook his head helplessly. There was no way to explain it clearly. Uncle Da, since you're like this, I won't make things difficult for you, Tao Ruhu said. It's fine. After all, everyone has their own difficulties. I can understand. Zhou De raised his head and looked at Tao Ruhu in disbelief. Tao Ruhu's words left him in disbelief. Uncle Da, I want to say that what I can understand is limited to what I can understand, Tao Ruhu said. After all, I'm someone who does things. I'll convey your attitude to Miss Tao. As for whether Miss Tao will understand, I can't guarantee. If Miss Tao is angry, Uncle Da, you'll have to pray for yourself. Zhou Da's expression changed. How are you going to tell Miss Tao? Of course I'm telling you the truth. Your Uncle Da isn't willing to help. Tauruhu said, although it can't be considered as adding insult to injury, it can also be called watching someone die without helping, right? I have no intention of leaving you to die, Joda said. Tauruhu smiled. But that's what I understand. Uncle Da, you asked me to understand you and I understand. That's what I understand. That's not what I meant. You can't understand it that way. Joda said. Tauruhu, if you do this, then it's the same as forcing me to my death. How I interpret it is my personal problem. No one else can influence it, Tauruhu said. Just like how you don't want to help, I won't influence your thoughts. Hearing this, Joda trembled with anger, but he couldn't come up with anything to refute. If you don't save him, then so be it. Perhaps Miss Tao can understand you, said Tauruhu. You're clearly trying to sow discord between us. Joda said. Tauruhu, if you do this, your scheme is too vicious. Tauruhu laughed. Uncle Da, you're going overboard. I'm Miss Tao's man. Why would I sow discord between you and Miss Tao? That doesn't make sense. It's your Uncle Da who doesn't save him. I'm just passing on the answer. Joda shook his head. It's not that I don't save him, but this matter is equivalent to dragging the other families down with me. So what if you drag him down with you? Don't tell me that our Tao clan deserves to stay in the water, while the other 5 great clans can just stand by and watch. Tauruhu said. Uncle Da, I've already said it. You can do whatever you want. After saying this, Tauruhu turned around and left. Joda frowned. Seeing Tauruhu really walk out, his heart leaped to his throat. If he really offended Miss Tao of the Tao family, would he have a good time? With Miss Tao's temper, he really didn't dare to offend her. The most important reason was that he received many benefits from Miss Tao every year. Other than him and Miss Tao, no one else knew about this. If he didn't help now, what would Miss Tao think? What would she think of him? Clearly, Joda didn't dare to think about what would happen. Miss Tao had given him too many benefits and taken care of him too much. That was why she was so confident in sending her subordinates here to look for him. If Tauruhu really left now, how would he Joda live in the future? Tauruhu, wait. Joda finally couldn't take it anymore. He stood up and stopped Tauruhu from leaving. I know I owe Miss Tao a favor. She needs me to help her. Even if it goes against my principles, I have to help her. A satisfied smile appeared on Tauruhu's face. Uncle Da, I knew our Miss Tao didn't misjudge you. Joda's expression was ugly. What do you want me to do? It's very simple. You just need to find a reason to gather the people in charge from the major families. Tauruhu said. Tauruhu said. You don't have to worry about the rest. We can handle it ourselves. Joda gritted his teeth. What reason should I use? Just say that the Tao family told you that Jiang Zixue has been dealt with. Now we need everyone to discuss how to deal with the aftermath. Tauruhu said. I believe they'll immediately come to investigate once they hear about this. Joda swallowed a mouthful of saliva. What about the real situation? You don't know the real situation either. You're only in charge of notifying them. Even if they come here and find out that it's not like that, they can't do anything to you, Tauruhu said. Joda took a deep breath. Even so, as the person in charge of the board of directors, he couldn't escape his responsibility. Even so, it was better than being punished by Miss Tao. Moreover, the one who came this time was the aggressive Tauruhu. If Joda hadn't stood up to stop him, he might not have gone back to report. Instead, he might have given Joda a death threat tonight. I understand what I should do, Joda said. Joda said, go back and tell Miss Tao to rest assured. I will definitely do as she says. Uncle Da, I'm relieved to hear that, Tauruhu said. You don't need to feel any psychological pressure or burden. You just need to know that everything you did was to let nature take its course. You didn't do anything wrong. Joda nodded. In the first place, this matter should be shouldered by everyone together. Tauruhu smiled. The Tao family doesn't want them to do anything. They're just shouldering some responsibility. Other than a bitter smile, Joda couldn't have any other expression on his face. Don't think of this as a burden. Tauruhu really should go back this time. Uncle Da, I'll leave you to it. I'll go back first. Zhou was in a daze. Then I won't stay any longer. I'll send you off. Stay. Do what you should do, Tao Ruhu said. Take care. Zhou's entire state was very robotic. After completing what Miss Tao wanted him to do, Tao Ruhu relaxed. He smiled and left the 7-Star Radiance Board of Directors. His footsteps were much lighter than before. Chapter 26:18. Jiesu drove with Tao Ruhu and took a big detour. When they returned to Qingdao, he immediately told Su Yun everything he knew. Everyone knew what Tao Ruhu's motive for going to the board of directors was. Jin Hong knew the board's function all too well. He looked very excited when he came out. It looks like he got a definite answer. Jiesu's initial judgment was definitely correct. When I first started to remember, the board of directors was held by the Zhou family. The Tao family has always taken good care of the Zhou family, Jin Hong said. Jiesu was even more straightforward. I don't think they're taking good care of them. At most, they're just keeping a dog in their yard. Their motive is to keep an eye on their own people. Jin Hong did not deny Jiesu's understanding. That was the Tao family's motive. There was nothing to explain. Now, the board of directors will definitely use their fastest speed to gather the people in charge of the other big families to Huaxia, Jin Hong said. When that happens, Tao Yinan's motive will be achieved. Su Yun smiled. Then let's just sit back and wait for the show. No matter what the final result is, it won't affect us. They'll be the ones unhappy in the end. As long as they're here, they'll have to step into this trap even if they don't want to, Lin Ge said. There's no turning back now. Let's see how many people will fall for it. Jin Hong said. Everyone will fall for it. The board of directors gatherings are usually important matters. As long as the board of directors agrees to Tao Yinan's request, they'll definitely gather everyone for them. There's no need to doubt that. You're so confident, Lin Ge said. Don't forget that you've left the Tao family for a long time. Maybe some things are no longer the same as 10 years ago. The board of directors has existed among the 7 big families of Heptagram for over 100 years. There's obviously a reason for its existence, Jin Hong said. Su Yun also believed that the board of directors definitely had his strength and could definitely drag the people from the other great families into the water. However, after this incident, he believed that the board of directors' status and role in the families would be greatly reduced. It was not impossible for it to become worthless. Whether or not they could make the board of governors worthless would depend on their plan this time. Perhaps this time, it would completely change the structure of all the families. Or perhaps it would completely make the 7-Star Radiance family organization disappear. These were all things that could not be explained clearly at the moment. No one could guarantee what would happen in the next second. At least for now, there was already a gap in the 7-Star Radiance. It was unknown whether this gap would rapidly expand like a crack in the glacier. Continue to pay attention to Tao Yinan, Su Yun said. We don't have to do anything about the rest. Let nature take its course. The others all nodded. Other than letting nature take its course, there was nothing else they could do. I'll take over for you today. You should have a good rest too, Lin Ge said to Jiesu. Thank you for your hard work. It's nothing, Jie Faker said. This small matter is nothing to me. I'll keep an eye on it myself. You have a girlfriend and I'm single. I don't need any rest. Don't do that. Single people need more time, Lin Ge said. I definitely can't run away if I have a girlfriend. You who don't have one, need to hurry up. Don't stand on ceremony with me. Just do as Pigeon said. You really should rest, Su Yun said. I don't want anyone to collapse when I need help. Jiesu did not refuse. Although he did not feel that he was that tired, he really did need to rest. He nodded and did not raise any other doubts. Jin Hong definitely could not leave the hotel. He had to know Tao Yinan's every move and who she met. Only then could he determine the development of the situation as soon as possible. Although the development of the situation did not have much to do with them, Jin Hong still could not let it go. Su Yun did not ask too much of him. Since he wanted to do this, he would let him do it. If it were Su Yun would not let it go either. Although Tao Yinan did not have a direct feud with Jin Hong, She was still one of the people who wiped out the Jiang family. Now she was preparing to kill his half-sister. No one would be so magnanimous to let it go. You should rest too. Suyin only said this to Jin Hong. Pigeon is here. He will help you share the burden. Don't worry. I can still hold on. Jin Hong said. I'm just keeping an eye on her. I'm not doing anything else that will waste my energy. I'll be fine. I'm very relieved, Suyin said. After a short meeting, they quickly left. While they were keeping an eye on Tao Yinan, Suyin was also being watched. Tao Tianyi did not listen to Tao Yinan's instructions. He still decided to take a risk. He wanted to secretly find out Suyun's background. Once he found an opportunity to directly control him, it would be equivalent to solving a big problem. For Tao Tianyi, this was definitely the biggest contribution in his life. If he could help Miss Tao solve this problem, it could be said that he could directly reach the sky in one step. In a word, it would not be long before he would be promoted, get a raise, become a general manager, become a CEO, marry a beautiful woman, and reach the peak of his life. For this, Tao Tianyi was prepared to pay some price. But he believed in his caution. He would never let Suyin find out about him. After waiting for more than 10 minutes at the entrance of Sky Entertainment Group, Tao Tianyi finally saw Suyun's true face. Suyin was not afraid at all. He arrogantly drove Jiang Zixue's red Porsche to the entrance of the group. This was mostly a declaration. He was declaring that in this area, he, Suyin, was so arrogant. He was not afraid of anyone, even if it was the Tao family. After all, he had already personally come to Tao Yinan's door. What was there to be afraid of? He was not afraid of the Tao family at all. This was what he wanted to express. Tao Tianyi's heart was in a bad mood when he thought about how he had been played by this guy. He wanted to see what this guy was capable of. Maybe if he followed him closely, he could directly find Jiang Zixue. This was also a temptation for Tao Tianyi. If he caught the person first, then wouldn't the initiative be in their hands again? After Su Yin returned to the company, he took care of some things. After Ruan Qingshuang and Zhuo Meiyan were done, they prepared to leave together. Su Yin. Zhuo Meiyan suddenly said. A friend of mine opened a new Western restaurant. He gave me a VIP card for two. I think Qingshuang has been working too hard these days. You can take her there to eat something. Su Yin was stunned. Ruan Qingshuang was also a little surprised. She could have gone with Su Yin if it was for two people. Qingshuang, it's not that I don't want to go, but I know it's not appropriate for me to go. Zhuo Meiyan said. Now that Su Yin is home, his mind is on those messy things. He has no time to chat with you. Aren't you the same? Ruan Qingshuang said. Zhuo Meiyan shook her head. I'm not the same. If I go home, Miss Jiang will have more protection. If I eat with Su Yin, she will have less protection. Su Yin will definitely have scruples. He won't be happy eating. Ruan Qingshuang was speechless. So it's better for the two of you to go. In this way, he will feel more at ease and won't worry about other things. Zhuo Meiyan said. Besides, I really hope he can relax. Only when he is alone with you can he let himself go. So it has to be you. Su Yin accepted Zhuo Meiyan's kindness. Thank you. Don't be so polite to me. Remember to take me to eat alone when you're in the mood. It doesn't have to be a Western restaurant. Even a food stall is fine. Zhuo Meiyan waved her hand and quickly walked to her Mercedes-Benz. Chapter 26:19. Su Yin and Ruan Qingshuang didn't want to waste Zhuo Meiyan's good intentions. They drove straight to the Western restaurant. The scale of the Western restaurant could be considered very high-end. The people eating there were also some sentimental little bourgeois men and women. Zhuo Meiyan obviously got the highest VIP invitation card. After the waiter saw the invitation card, he knew that they were important friends of the boss. He immediately invited them to the VIP seats upstairs. To be able to have such a VIP card, one had to be a reputable person, and the intention of the boss to give the card to these friends was to let them taste the signature dishes here. The quantity wasn't important, but the delicacy and the variety. The secret grilled chicken wings, the delicious Italian cheese sausage platter. Just the appetizer completely opened Ruan Qingshuang's appetite. I didn't expect the chicken wings here to be so delicious. Wan Qingshuang said. If there's time, I really have to ask Meiyan to come and try it together. The things she can bring out must be good, Su Yin said. To be honest, he was much more grateful to Zhuo Meiyan than Wan Qingshuang. He was sincere. The freshness of the black caviar and salmon also made Wan Qingshuang praise. The cream of wild mushroom soup was also very delicious. It was really an authentic soup. The chef must not be simple. Wan Qingshuang praised almost every dish. The green sauce chicken and mushroom basil noodles, and the traditional Italian handmade pizza, could also trigger every cell of people's taste buds. The dishes that left the deepest impression on Wan Qingshuang were the vanilla grilled codfish with yogurt and spicy clams and oysters. Su Yin preferred the Angus filet mignon, pan-fried foie gras with blueberry juice, Sicilian red wine braised lamb knee, and cheese white sauce baked Australian lobster. After the big meal, the papaya vanilla ice cream, tiramisu mango pudding, and other small things would also give people a big surprise. I'm serious. This is really the best Western food I've ever eaten, Wan Qingshuang said. Even many high-end Western restaurants in Beijing and Xinjiang can't compare to this. Looks like you've tasted a lot of good food. You're about to become a gourmet. Su Yin smiled. Wan Qingshuang was no longer the Wan Qingshuang of the past. As the president of Tianyu Group, she had to entertain a lot of clients. She had tasted almost all the high-end restaurants in the country. It could be said that she had been to more venues than Su Yin. It's okay. Wan Qingshuang hadn't felt so relaxed for a long time. It was more comfortable to eat with Su Yin. How can a small restaurant like Qingdao compare to the high-end restaurants in places like Yanjing and Xinjiang? Su Yin said. Your evaluation of them is a bit too high. Wan Qingshuang shook her head. I don't think so. I really feel that way. Maybe it's because my mood is different when I eat, so I have a different feeling. It seems that my effect is quite powerful. Su Yin said. Then what do you think is the best thing you've eaten? You won't believe me if I tell you. Wan Qingshuang's tone suddenly became serious. Su Yin was stunned. What's there to not believe? Is it the fried noodles from a roadside stall? Or the small pancakes and skewers from the snack street? Wu Dalong pancakes. Wan Qingshuang shook her head. No, I don't eat these things. It's neither healthy nor hygienic. Then what is it? Su Yin said. I really can't think of what your favorite thing to eat is. Celery eel, Wan Qingshuang said. Su Yin suddenly realized. When he first met Wan Qingshuang asked him to be a chef. Guogua asked him to make a dish to try in front of her. He showed a little of his skills and made this dish. Now that he thought about what happened back then, he felt that it was both distant and very close. It seemed to be right in front of him, but it was also out of reach. Do you remember now? Wan Qingshuang said. Su Yin nodded. How could he forget? That's the best dish I've ever eaten. Wan Qingshuang smiled. Because I was at a dead end in Hudong at that time. If I was alone, I might not have been able to hold on. Unfortunately, there was a little burden by my side, so I had to hold on. Just when I couldn't hold on anymore, there was another person like you. Thinking of this, Wan Qingshuang couldn't help but tear up. Maybe it was because she missed those good times, or maybe it was because she missed Guogua, or maybe it was because she remembered Su Yin's meticulous care for her. When all the reasons were mixed together, it would make people feel complicated. To be honest, Wan Qingshuang didn't hate her current life and current situation, but she missed the last time in the medicinal cuisine house. That was the happiest time in her life. Maybe you really need to be in a good mood when eating. Wan Qingshuang said. Before you made that dish, it seems that I haven't had a happy meal for many years. Every time. Because she was a little choked up, Wan Qingshuang couldn't say anything. Forget it, let's not talk about it, Wan Qingshuang said. Then the best soup you've ever had is the honey egg tea I made for you? Su Yin tried to make Wan Qingshuang happier. Then you're too easy to raise. Honey egg tea is much easier to make than cream mushroom soup. Celery eel is also much easier to make than vanilla grilled codfish with yogurt. Wan Qingshuang laughed. I don't expect you to be able to make vanilla grilled codfish with yogurt. You can learn how to bake Australian lobster with cheese white sauce. Zuamayan likes Australian lobster. What about you, Suyin? I like it too. Chou Yun and Xiaoya also like it, Wan Qingshuang said. Then after we're done with this, let's go on a vacation together. We'll go to Western Australia and eat the freshest Australian lobster. Suyin. Wan Qingshuang was really looking forward to this. Then it really depends on everyone's time. The most important thing is your time. Don't worry, it won't be a problem. Suyin. Also, other than Australian lobster, there's also king crab. I like that. I don't know if we can catch fresh ones there. You're quite ambitious. It's good enough if you can catch something edible. Wan Qingshuang smiled. The two of them sat at the VIP seats by the window and talked cheerfully. Meanwhile, a silver car was parked at the roadside below the restaurant. The people in the car looked at the people eating happily through 2 layers of glass. Their stomachs seemed to be leaking air, and kept growling. Tao Tianyi was really hungry. He hadn't eaten anything for the whole day. It didn't feel good. He also wanted to eat Australian lobster with white cheese sauce, but he had more important things to do than eating lobster. He couldn't be distracted. Do you see the car below? Suyin didn't look back. Instead, he raised his glass and said to Wan Qingshuang, "Silver." Wan Qingshuang was just about to turn her head to look when Suyin stopped her. "Just look out of the corner of your eye." Wan Qingshuang stopped and raised her glass to Suyin. "I see it. What's wrong? When we came out of the company, this car has been following us." Suyin. "I don't believe that someone would park a car in front of a restaurant for no reason. There must be a reason and purpose." Wan Qingshuang was slightly surprised. "You mean the person in the car is?" "It's just a possibility. It seems that my popularity is still quite good." Suyin. "How many fans do you think I'll have if I become a celebrity? Can it exceed 1 million? You're still in the mood to joke. Aren't you afraid of what they'll do later?" Wan Qingshuang said. Suyin smiled slightly. "If I'm afraid of them, then I'm not Suyin." Chapter 26:20. In the face of Suyun's confidence, Wan Qingshuang really had nothing to say. If he didn't have this confidence, then he wouldn't be her Suyun. "When we left the company, this car followed us. He has been very careful." Suyin. Maybe at this time he didn't realize that he had been discovered. Just as Suyin said, Tao Tianyi really felt that he was being very careful. With the experience of being discovered and played for a fool last time, he used almost all the methods he could think of to cover up his stalking behavior. Unfortunately, even so, he still couldn't escape Suyun's eyes. After all, Suyun's pair of sharp eyes were exchanged for so many years of experience. How could he allow himself to be targeted so casually? Moreover, it was at such a dangerous moment. Then when we go home later, won't he also watch us go home? Wan Qingshuang said, "This is also because of Jiang Zixue's matter." Suyin nodded. Now, except for the group of people who wanted to trouble Jiang Zixue, he really couldn't find a second person who wanted to be beaten up. Then isn't Jiang Zixue in danger? We can't let him know the location of our house. Wan Qingshuang said. Even if he knows, he can't do anything. Suyin. With just them, if they dared to do something, they would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? Wan Qingshuang frowned. But we still should be careful. After all, things are unpredictable. This makes sense. Suyin smiled. Then let's play with them for a while. Anyway, there is nothing to do now. We won't go home tonight. If we don't go home, where are we going? Wan Qingshuang said. After watching Fast 7, we go to Fast 8. Suyin. Don't young people like this mode now? Fast and Furious 7 was a movie, while Fast and Furious 8 was a chain hotel. Obviously, it was in line with the current model of young people going to a hotel after watching a movie. Wan Qingshuang didn't react at first, but after she figured it out, she immediately blushed. Suyin actually said that he wanted to get a room after the movie. Wan Qingshuang didn't even give her time to react. After realizing this, Wan Qingshuang looked at the smile on Suyun's face. It was really a bad smile. Are you serious? Wan Qingshuang said. You're still in the mood to tease me at a time like this. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Suyin said, let's go watch a movie and then stay at a hotel tonight. Ruan Qingshuang opened her mouth and didn't close it for a long time. Wasn't this teasing her? But, how are we going to tell our family? Ruan Qingshuang said. Zhuo Meiyan only asked them to come out for a meal, but she didn't say that they could stay out for the night. We're being watched. Wouldn't we be asking for trouble if we go back now? Suyin said. I'll call them and explain. Ruan Qingshuang let out a long breath. They were being watched, so they had no choice but to not go home. But why did Ruan Qingshuang feel so excited? Let's go. I think the guy downstairs has been waiting for too long. Suyin said. Let's go somewhere else. He'll be more patient. Ruan Qingshuang nodded and got up with her bag. The two left the Western restaurant, got in the car, and went directly to Yida Cinema. This was a cinema that Tianyu Group invested in and built. There were a total of 2 cinemas on Qingdao, one in the north and one in the south. As the bosses, it was naturally impossible for them to spend money to watch a movie. Moreover, they had invested in these movies, so they had seen many of them before they were released. Today they didn't come just to show off. They also came to find a little fun that they had lost. Before they came, Suyin called the person in charge here. The person in charge immediately arranged seats for them. Originally, he wanted to arrange a small VIP room for Suyin and Zhuo Meiyan. If he directly booked the whole theater, they would feel comfortable. However, Suyin insisted on going to the largest theater because he liked the feeling of more people. Tao Tianyi followed them all the way to the theater. He cursed in his heart. It seemed that he still wanted him to continue waiting. Seeing that someone came out to welcome Suyin and Zhuo Meiyan into the theater, Tao Tianyi stopped the car and waited for a while before he decided to go in. At this time, the person in charge who sent Suyin and Ruan Qingshuang into the theater had just breathed a sigh of relief. What movie were those two watching just now? I also watched their movie. Tao Tianyi walked behind the person in charge and asked. The person in charge of the theater looked back. Who was this? Who are you? After all, Chairman Su and Chairman Ruan just went in. He was a little confused, facing a stranger who suddenly asked him a question. The person in charge of the theater was obviously not used to it. Who am I? I am a consumer. After Tao Tianyi finished speaking, he took out money. Buy tickets. I want to watch the movie that those two people were watching just now. The person in charge of the theater looked at the 200 yuan that Tao Tianyi took out and frowned. No matter what, he was someone with an annual salary of a few 100,000 yuan. What did this grandson mean by giving him money directly? Go over there to buy tickets. I am not a ticket seller. The person in charge of the theater impatiently said. Understand? Over there at the ticket window. At the same time, he cursed in his heart. He didn't even know the process of watching a movie and asked him, the person in charge of the theater, to buy tickets. Did you hear what I said? I said I want to watch the movie that those two people were watching just now. Tao Tianyi said. I am going over there to buy tickets. How would I know what they are watching? Hurry up. Here is the money. The rest is the tip. Take me in. The person in charge of the theater stared at him. You know who I am here? Look at you. You are dressed like a leader. Tao Tianyi said. I am looking for a leader like you. Other soldiers don't have the authority to take me in. I am really speechless. The person in charge of the theater said. You know that I am the leader here. Then do you know who went in just now? That is my leader. Who are you? If you are an ordinary customer, go and buy tickets. You can choose what you want to watch. If you cause trouble for me, then get out immediately. Is this how you treat your customers? Tao Tianyi was a little annoyed. The person in charge of the theater waved his hand, and several security guards surrounded him. Then I really want to ask you, what is your intention? Why do you want to watch the movie that our leader is going to? This sentence really stunned Tao Tianyi. Tao Tianyi didn't want to alarm the people inside. That would expose his whereabouts. I just saw that those two people had high taste. The movie that they chose definitely wouldn't be bad. Tao Tianyi said. Do you understand what I mean? Nonsense. Of course their taste is high. All the movies that go into the theater are chosen by them. The person in charge of the theater said, "Who are you? If you are like this, do you believe that I will call the police and let the police investigate you?" If Tao Tianyi wasn't thinking about the overall situation, he would have really slapped him. "Okay, you are good." Tao Tianyi pointed at the person in charge of the theater and said, "You are good. With a service staff like you, your theater will close sooner or later. Whether I close or not has nothing to do with you." The person in charge of the theater said, "There are so many people watching movies in Huaxia. You are not the only one. If you have the ability, don't enter the door of Yida Theater in the future." Tao Tianyi didn't understand the market in Huaxia. He didn't know the popularity of the movie industry in Huaxia. He completely underestimated the other party's ability. Tao Tianyi couldn't watch the movie and was scolded. He could only endure it and leave. The only thing he could do was to go out and continue to wait for the Ferrari over there, until Su Yun and the others came out. Just thinking about it made Tao Tianyi's heart angry. What is this? It's really King unreliable. A Western meal had already made him wait for 1.5 hours. What about this movie? It should be more than 100 minutes. Another 2 hours passed. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.